guys think happens to Bernie Sanders if he doesn't win? Does Hillary Clinton give him a cabinet position?
I think he goes back. He probably
he goes back to the Senate. And does he have any power? Does he represent the progressive movement? And what does that mean? So what I think that they'll go back to marginalizing him. Like, what do they care if he represents the progressive movement? That's my sense of it. What do you think?
Serious answer first, he goes into bare knuckle boxing. Second answer is no, he's already a progressive champion. He's some people saying that the reason why Elizabeth Warren came out to call Donald Trump a loser was because she was feeling that her progressive bona fides were getting overshadowed by Bernie Sanders. So she wanted to come out and make herself relevant again. I don't know if I buy that 100%, but he's already established himself as the most progressive guy in the country. He's saying things that Democrats have been afraid to say since Ronald Reagan, and it's igniting people's passions like crazy. So nobody else can get crowds like him on the Democratic side. Maybe if Elizabeth Warren, I don't know. She never tried, but we'll see. But I say he's what Ralph Nader should be. He's going to be that, right? And we never hear from Ralph Nader anymore, ever, because everyone hates him. What happened in 2000? They blame him for it. But so now there's a guy, and it's going to be Bernie Sanders. I think he'll play a big role. And you know what? I think, the only thing is that I think that they'll still keep him out of mainstream media, because let me tell you something. Whenever his message is antithetical to what the corporate news wants to say. They don't want money out of politics. They don't want money out of politics. And they don't want money out of politics. And they don't want to get rid of TPP and bad trade deals like that. In fact, the other night when Donald Trump started to talk against the TPP deal during his speech, they actually cut from him, that's amazing, right? So they cut when he started to talk against the TPP, Comcast said, cut it. And they did. So I think Bernie Sanders will be a very loud progressive voice from here and for the rest of his life. No doubt about it. Watch what he says right at the end here, too. Watch this. He says,
erection. We can't get everything we want. That's simply the reality. Any one person can say no.
So what he doesn't realize, what he just did there, was reveal that he's not willing to do what Joe Manchin. Any one person can say no to a bill, which is what Joe Manchin does, and gets what he wants. And Bernie will never. Yes, Bernie, that means you can say no. You're the one person. That one person who can say no, that's you, Bernie. And you were supposed to say no during the CARES Act, and you didn't. And you're supposed to say no now, and you're not. You're the one doing the dirty work of Joe Biden to kill the $15 minimum wage. You brought it up in a way that you knew wouldn't. This is straight up gaslighting. And this is the kind of shit we used to rail against from the corporate Democrats. And now every time Bernie opens his mouth, this is what he's doing. He just said any one person can hold up the legislation. That means you can do that. If Joe Manchin can do it, that's the question. Joe Manchin can hold up this legislation, Bernie. Why won't you? He'll never answer that question. You know why? Because there isn't an answer. Because the real answer is, I'm a nutless wonder who cares more about being treated nicely by the Democratic Party and the establishment than I do about fighting for you.
Welcome to another episode of the Nick and CJ Show. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. And Nick, who would usually answer right now, Nick is finishing up an interview on a convo couch. He's literally going to be joining us in 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the max. So starting the show still a little bit later than normal, but before he gets here, got a lot to discuss. And what I wanted to show in that first intro, I know it's a longer intro than normal, was that the contrast. And I picked Jimmy Dore because he's probably the most public vocal critic, harshest critic of Bernie Sanders. So I wanted to find him saying the complete opposite, right? And I did. And it just so happens to be Cenk Uygur and Jordan Sheraton happen to be in that same conversation. Now, you didn't hear Jordan talk. If you go see the full video of that, oops, there's a spider right there. If you go see a full video of that video, you'll hear Jordan chime in too in that conversation. But to see what Jimmy was saying. I think this video was like 6 years ago, the first video, and then this other one's maybe a year ago or something like that. I can't remember exactly the second one. But the first part of this video, Jimmy actually says, I think Bernie is going to be great for a long time.
Guy, and it's going to be Bernie Sanders. I think he'll play a big role. And you know what? I think, you know, the only thing is that I think that they'll still keep him out of mainstream media, because let me tell you something. Whenever his message is antithetical to what the corporate news wants to say. They don't want money out of politics. They don't want money out of politics. And they don't want money out of politics. And they don't want to get rid of TPP and bad trade deals like that. In fact, the other night when Donald Trump started to talk against the TPP deal during his speech, they actually cut from him, which that's amazing, right? So they cut when he started to talk against the TPP, Comcast said, cut it. And they did. So I think Bernie Sanders will be a very loud progressive voice from here and for the rest of his life. No doubt about it.
Wow. A very loud progressive voice from here. Okay, I guess this is a better way to rewind instead of going too far back.
Bernie Sanders will be a very loud progressive voice from here and for the rest of his life. No doubt about it. Watch what he said.
And then it just switched. But the contrast is illustrated through Jimmy Dore. I mean, of all people, if you were to tell people who know Jimmy Dore in the last year, hey, and they know him because they know he critiques Bernie. Jimmy used to be all for Bernie. They wouldn't believe it. They would not believe it. Show them this video. But it illustrates how far Bernie Sanders has come. It illustrates that some people have gotten fed up. Like Bernie Sanders can't do this much longer. He obviously is going to have to retire pretty soon because he can't keep doing this bullshit that he's doing. And right now, well, I'll save that for the actual segment. Now, let me show you something else here, because there is something else I wanted to show you before we get to announcements and before Nick joins us. Or if he joins us, that's oops. I should be going to this one here. Bookmarks. I thought I was already in bookmarks. All right, so let's go here. The other thing I wanted to show was this. So Turncoat Don made another video. So I wanted to play it. It's pretty funny, like all of the videos that Turncoat makes. So let's listen to the latest video. It dropped yesterday evening, 9:30 Eastern. So let's listen. Should be pretty funny, or I think everybody will find this funny.
So, but maybe the workers don't want to be part of this fantasy play.
What the actual fuck we on the left, I'm not talking about people like Ryan. I mean, those of us who genuinely want to defend working people, we have the obligation to call out both elected officials who have betrayed us and also the labor leaders who have betrayed us. I don't know how much Ryan actually knows about the labor movement. I have been a rank and file member of the labor movement. I've been a delegate to the Labor Council. I have spent 10 years as an elected representative. Nobody in their right mind, Ryan, maybe despite being a political analyst, you thought that the Senate, there was any chance of the Senate voting yes on a paid sick leave bill? Yeah, Ryan Grim doesn't worry me. The workers who are listening to this understand that he's engaging in sophistry and he's completely misrepresenting what I said. The truth, though, is it's not about Ryan Grim. It is about people like him. We cannot trust people like Ryan Grim. Ryan Grim says, never let politicians out of your sight, while at the same time defending those same politicians who have sold out working people. I would say to working people, never let politicians out of your sight, but never let people like Ryan Grimm out of your sight. Politicians couldn't sell workers out without the Ryan Grimms of the world defending their betrayals. Politicians rely on the left cover of people exactly like Ryan here, making the rounds, making excuses for vicious attacks on the working class. Not only that, but turning around and accusing fighters for workers, socialists like myself, as somehow being against workers. I've seen this all the time in Seattle. If the Democrats on the council weren't given cover by people like them, they would not be able to do what they do, which is sell workers out over and over again.
You gotta knock the fuck out, man.
Turncoat Dawn strikes again. And let me see it. You can follow him on Twitter or follow the person on Twitter at Turncoat D, the letter D. So yeah.
So, but
Oh man, that's a great video of woo, that's so funny to me. So one more funny thing. Doing a little bit different intro today. So one more funny thing. We didn't get a chance to get to this funny segment or do this funny segment on Hillary Clinton, on karaoke, whatever it's called. Oh man. So all right, so this is gonna be our introduction for today. Those two videos, sort of funny. One is on point for the topic. The other two is just Turncoat Dawn, and this Hillary Clinton video just hilarious. So, all right, so let's get to announcements before we get to the topics. And I guess announcing the topics is one of the announcements. So let's do that. I mean, these are two things that literally have fell in our lap in the last 24 hours. If you asked this 24 hours ago, I'm not sure if the burning news was out yet, but it could have been close. Wouldn't even think that we would have these two stories. And let me put the graphic up. Bernie Sanders, I mean, it's a long time coming. And it's just an accumulation of all the things that he has done to show who he is, at least the current Bernie Sanders, to show who the current Bernie Sanders is. And then, so we're going to cover that, but we're talking about that. Let me finish the first topic. We're talking about that because he backed down to the Democratic Party establishment from his Yemen resolution. So the Yemen resolution is just what the latest thing to illustrate the dramatic downfall of Bernie Sanders. And then what fell in our lap? So this was the original graphic. And then after the graphic was made, what fell in our lap was the tweet. Now, the tweet was yesterday. Now, we didn't see it or notice it until maybe early this morning, late last night. So graphic was already made, and we added this second graphic here with Kshama on it because DSA, and if you follow our Twitter or YouTube account, you'll see this in our community postings where we post anything. We posted the tweet where they're calling Kshama out. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, at least to me. Maybe not to the professional managerial class, those that aren't class traders. And then we'll see if we can get to the Ralph Nader calling out the squad. That's the Brianna Joy Gray audio. So we'll probably actually start with that one. And then Barack Obama melts down. And I want to make sure Nick is here for that because he has a viral tweet about this where he's calling out this is how I even found out about this video that Barack Obama has out. All right, so those are, let me see. Yeah, those are the topics. It looks like 4, and that should be easily, we should be able to cover all of those. And I think I'm going to start with the Brianna Joy Gray interview. Short interview. It's like 20 minutes, but we'll cover maybe half of it. There's a couple of snippets, bites, where he makes some good points about the squad. We'll cover that first before we get to, and I consider these are 2 of the same main, both of these are main topics. Like DSA calling out Kshama and Bernie Sanders yet again bowing to the Democratic Party. Both of these are sort of co-lead stories, so we're going to get into that. But let's first get into some announcements. We'll get to super chats, comments, and any other announcement we need to make. Let's go in here really quick. Shout out to those watching us on Rockfin. We have to remember to show them a little love. Follow us, subscribe to us on Substack. If you want to join our Discord, and I forgot to send the link out last night, so I'll send it out after the show, actually. Or maybe when Nick gets here, when he's speaking out, I'll try to send it out. But anyway, I'll get the Discord link out sometime today. And if you want to join our Discord, there's 2 ways. We sent the link out to Patreon subscribers or Patreon followers, subscribers. That could be the right word. And then also to our Discord. So I'm sorry, to our Substack subscribers. So to be clear again, to get access to our Discord, either Patreon or you're a Substack subscriber. Okay, so join our Substack to get access to our Discord, and if you need if you want to get notifications for when we go live or we send out clips, and we're pretty active with sending out clips. We probably send out 2 to 3 or sometimes even 4 clips. 4 days a week, maybe we do that. So now that we have Aaron, our first editor, working with us, so thank you, Aaron, and shout out to Aaron for that. Also, like the stream. We're currently, or the last time I checked, I should say, we're at 125 likes. We have 250 people. Let's go to 200 likes. That's 75 more. Can we get 75 more people to hit that like button? Let's get some more people in, and hopefully we can get up to about 500 people. It might take another 30 minutes. Let's get up to like 500 people today for these segments, and we will be cutting most of them up, usually except for like the first segment, because if you're watching a long stream, you'll usually catch the first 20 minutes or so. So, all right. So like the stream, get us to 200 or more. If you do more, that's great. There's one more thing, and that is subscribe. 27,000. I think we're up here. Let me update that number. Let's see what it is. And let's see here. Okay, so I got the updated number. We added what, 30 some odd people or so. So 27,061. The goal is RBN to 30,000, or in the hashtag is RBN to 30K. All right, so let's get into the first topic. We're going to go to bad faith. I know you can't see this first part, but before I share, actually, how about I just do it in this tab? So let's just go here. Let's go to YouTube in this tab. And because, like I said, we're not going to cover the full. This will be, a regular size segment, not too long, not too short. But I mean, the actual,
when you talk about those kind of structural impediments,
the actual episode, that's the YouTube version at least, is short itself. It's only 24 minutes, but we may do half of that. So, but there's a lot of good things that Ralph says now. I'll say this. I'll say that. I'll save that part for later. So let's do this first segment now. I do know I'm going to get to some comments. I have not forgot. Ralph, Nader, and Okay, so that'll be what this segment is. But now let's go to comments before we start the segment. Let's go to comments. I do see at least one super chat. I will save that and get to that super chat also. Let's go to this one. Thank you for the comment. RBN gets better and better each day. DSA wants to suspend the most credible person, but keep fakes like Sandy Cortez. That is, ain't that something, Kathy? Throw out the best one and keep the worst one. Like throw out Fred Hampton and keep Al Sharpton. Let's do that. Yes, thank you. Jay the informant. Hit that like button. The DSA is an establishment too at this point. No one should be surprised for the calling for her to be resigned. They are controlled opposition. Agreed. How drunk does Jank sound? I guess you're asking in the video, how drunk does he sound? Jank, 21st century thought leader. That's at least what he attempts to be. Here is that super chat. Nick and CJ at it again. Let's go. Keep Kshama destroying DSA on repeat. Much love, RBN and community. Thank you, Big Cat. Big Cat's Corner for the super chat. And let's continue working but lurking today. What's up, John? So you're working and listening. So great. Making it easier to narrow down third parties for 2024. Ralph Nader Hour is on every Sunday. Sorry. Turn the brightness up on here. Back when TYT could claim to be left media without people laughing. Yeah, without people laughing. Absolutely. That video is reminiscent of that. Yes, let's go to this comment. Oh, what so many of us once fell for. What so many of us once fell for. Yes. Hey, y'all. Let's go. Thanks, guys, for your support. Be a Parenti, not a Bernie. I think that's a good final comment, at least with words. And let's get into this first segment here where we examine this interview. Nader, it says Ralph Nader on holding the squad accountable, CBC 2004 and Tesla. We're probably not going to get to the Tesla stuff. So
when you talk about those kind of structural impediments, so firsthand, people are going to say, well, sure, we understand that money corrupts, but we expected more of these squad members because they campaigned on not taking corporate money. They are grassroots funded. So what's their excuse? Okay. And then you bring up this other piece that's about the power all being concentrated in House leadership, which is now Hakeem Jeffries, which is a whole other story that I'd love to ask you about. But let's just stay with the Nancy Pelosi example for a second. And that perhaps gives some air to arguments that say the following. Squad members have limited power. They are an extreme minority. They're up against powerful figures like Nancy Pelosi. It's good for them to actually keep their head down and try to wrangle for more prestigious committee appointments so that they can slowly build power the way that folks like Pelosi have done over the years, and then they can act. You know, I have had many a disagreement back and forth about the utility of that kind of approach and whether or not it could actually be successful, partly because we see that people like Pramila Jayapal, who's very openly taken that kind of approach, got completely passed over for this speaker position. Doesn't seem to have really any genuine shot at leadership, despite being behind some of the more dastardly moments of the past year with the bifurcation of the Build Back Better bill, convincing the progressives not to hold the line over a $15 minimum wage, and now doing this wrangling with the TA where she joined it with the 7-day sick leave bill so that she could basically provide cover for folks to vote for this thing and get it into the Senate, where, of course, it was going to be decoupled and the 7 days were going to get voted down. So I guess that's a long way of asking, what do you think of what do you think of the logic of those progressives who say, I understand why progressive electeds are keeping their head down and just playing the long game?
Well, the long game keeps becoming longer. I mean, how many years do you have to wait for universal health insurance? President Harry Truman proposed it in the 1940s. How many years do you have to wait for an increase of minimum wage from the paltry $7.25 an hour federal before it goes to $15 an hour and improves the wages of 25 million workers? Quite a few of them would vote just on that issue enough. They just say, go vote for a raise. It's long overdue and you've earned it. It's lucky that you're not getting back pay for being cheated. So it does, the argument is absurd on the evidence. The progressives get nothing by going along. They get nothing. I'll give you an example. There were 32 members of the Freedom Caucus on the Republican side. They dominated Speaker Boehner. They basically said, don't mess with us. Here are our demands. If you don't accept our demands, we're pulling the plug on you. 32 votes. Well, there are a lot more than that, progressive votes on the Democratic side. But, you know, Pelosi is a genius at dividing and ruling, and she's a genius at punishing. And what the progressives have failed to understand is they're going there to serve the people. There's nothing else they should demand. No special assignments and this and that. They get these.
Don't go there demanding committee assignments. Like, that's not what you're being sent there for.
Special assignments, and they do nothing. Nothing. I mean, what have they done in terms of getting hearings, long overdue hearings on the Israeli-Palestinian issue, using the opportunity of Israeli and Palestinian peace advocates, which have never been given a voice at a congressional hearing in the last 60 years. They do nothing. What have they done on Social Security by getting on these committees? Nothing. What have they done on living wage? Nothing. What have they done on upgrading the federal corporate criminal law code, which is obsolete and ridiculous in terms of equipping enough federal cops on the corporate crime beat? Nothing. Not only don't they get anything, they don't even put the bills in most times. So you can have a bill number and go out, citizen groups go out around the country rallying around the bill number. That's a totally repudiated argument. It doesn't hold water, and it's a disgrace that they would even try to float that idea. The only way they can get anything is to say no, and we're withdrawing our votes, and then go to the table.
No, and we are withdrawing our vote. That sounds pretty much like force the vote. I remember some peasant workers pushing that along with some class traders. I remember some people pushing force the vote. So I'm going to rewind a little bit, I should say, not a little more, a little bit. Let's see, 10 seconds, 13 seconds.
And it's a disgrace that they would even try to float that idea. The only way they can get anything is to say no, and we're withdrawing our votes, and then go to the table and negotiate with the corporate Democrats. And the corporate Democrats know that the margin with the Republicans over recent years has been quite narrow, and that these progressives could be as powerful, if not more so, than the so-called Freedom Caucus, I call it the corporate caucus, in the House of Representatives. I mean, Boehner basically quit, and he blamed those 32 members of his caucus.
Yeah, well, it has been fascinating.
I mean, think about that. That you have people who are elected, whatever ideology they have an ideology like what they want to get executed. Is not what we want. But their tactic is, you're going to do, like, the leader works for us. We're the representatives of the people. You work for us. You're going to do what we want to do. or we're going to make your life a living hell, to the extent where John Boehner actually leaves. And it's specifically because of this group of people who made his life a living hell. From his point of view, from a corporate mindset, made his life a living hell. Why can't the left get anybody to execute anything like that? Why can't the left get anyone with this sort of brass tactics? Just terrible. But anyway, let's listen some more. And this is not even the point that I'm listening for. Let's listen that Ralph makes. So he makes a lot more.
To watch Republicans put up some fight over their speaker after all of the pushback we saw around the force the vote moment 2 years ago, where Democrats, rested at their clothes and pulled out their hair, claiming that, if the progressives were to withhold their votes for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House for any concession at all, or simply just to make her not Speaker of the House, then the consequences would be dire. The things that they said were that somehow we would get Kevin McCarthy, a Republican Speaker of the House, which was impossible unless Democrats were to have actually voted for Kevin McCarthy. Now, of course, Kevin McCarthy is in all likelihood going to be Speaker of the House. And at the same time, the other excuse that they gave was, oh, well, if it's not Nancy Pelosi, it will be Hakeem Jeffries, and he might even be worse. Now, of course, Hakeem Jeffries is going to be my minority leader. So I want to ask you just brought up Israel-Palestine as an issue, for example. Hakeem Jeffries is someone who has described Israel as New York's 6th district.
Someone said to me, they said, Hakeem, you're going to Israel a 5th time? I said, listen, I'm from New York City. And back home in New York City, we consider Jerusalem to be the 6th borough.
Do you think it's a coincidence that all the new progressives happen to be on board with Israel? You have a speaker who's going to be there literally, or he's not the speaker technically now, but whenever the Democrats regain power, he's going to be the speaker. What is the plan? And I asked, I asked Nina Turner this. What is the plan that progressive have now that Hakeem Jeffries is at the speakership? What is the plan? They act like they're doing some sort of a strategy, but they don't make any adjustments when shit happens. But anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Let's continue. Let's get back on track with the video.
What do you make of him, and how this is going to change the dynamics and the possibilities for progressives to use any kind of leverage in the House at all?
Well, all you have to do is look at the evolution of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yes, this is so important.
When I was
here.
at law school, the same law school you went to, it was at the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement. Orville Faubus was governor of Arkansas, and a few of us would go to rallies and demonstrate. And at night, we'd go to a restaurant and we'd start dreaming. And we'd say, the only way Negroes were going to get power in this country, that's what they were called in those days, as you know. The only way they were going to get power was politically, that they have to elect members of the House and Senate and start getting seniority and getting power. Well, the corporations had other design. The Congressional Black Caucus is so immersed in corporate contributions and corporate whining and dining and all the rest of the political influence that operates on Capitol Hill that it was exposed.
It is literally immersed, the Black Congressional Caucus. And maybe Nick and I needs to do a stream on that, because they are immersed in corruption and corporate money. This is why they literally do nothing for the Black community. They literally get nothing done for the Black community. And they're here to go out and shield whenever needed. Whenever they need to put a black face up, they're willing to go out and shield for the racist Democrat or whatever racist person they need to come in and say, oh, I got a black friend. That's a Congressional Black Caucus. And it's not a coincidence they're that way, because they're literally drowning in corporate cash. Maxine Waters said, go home. Yeah, she's terrible. She is absolutely terrible. Where's the tab for the video? Let's continue with the video.
Posed even in the New York Times in 2011 by Eric Lipton, and in an article in the Capitol Hill Citizen, which is a new pilot newspaper that we're starting. And Hakeem Jeffries comes out of that environment. You have senior black legislators who at various times controlled the House Ways and Means Committee, the House Judiciary Committee. I mean, these are powerful committees, and they would never do any investigation of commercial exploitation in the ghettos, in the inner city. I would go and ask them, and they would never do it. I had to get Dennis Kucinich, who had a subcommittee that wasn't a legislative subcommittee, to have 2 or 3 days of hearings. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, unknown to most people, has had a very radical uncle. I mean, he was a very fundamental advocate for economic justice, and it didn't rub off. And what happens with these what happens with these minority members of Congress is they're rewarded only if they get along, only if they answer the question no.
That's how grooming a House Negro works. That's how it works. It's like training a dog. You positive reinforcement, so you reward when he does something bad.
And asked, are you going to give corporate power trouble? If they say no, they start being given the next rung of the ladder and the next rung of the ladder. So Hakeem Jeffries knows what the score is. He knows what the power distribution is in this country. He knows the inequalities and the exploitation. But he also knows that if he wants to be an influential member of the House, he has to get along by going along the likes of the circle around Nancy Pelosi.
I mean, look at Maxine Waters chairing the Financial Services Committee. The news last week was that she wasn't going to subpoena Sam Bankman-Fried post, as you know, the complete collapse of his crypto exchange to come and testify. Now they say it's because he's going to do so voluntarily. We'll see what happens. But some people read into that a certain sympathy there. He's a prolific Democratic Party donor. Of course, he's donated to both parties because that's what they do. So no matter who wins, their regulatory regime is the one that's put into place. But Maxine Waters, someone who has been celebrated in the mainstream media sphere as being a kind of a liberal or a progressive person, partly for kind of these identity politics, representational politics reasons, partly because she, said some good progressive things around the defund the police movement and the protests around 2020, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look any closer, you see her doing things like apparently being the mastermind behind excluding Katie Porter from the Financial Services Committee, exactly because Katie Porter was drawing too much attention to financial. Now,
let me be clear. Katie Porter is just like them to me. She's just another, pseudo sort of leftist. She's not any better in my eyes.
Inequity and advocating for things like a wealth tax and things that upset the people on the committee who are real fundraising powerhouses for the Democratic Party.
Well, that's another example you gave. Maxine Waters ascended to the chair of the powerful banking committee, it was called in those days, which was traditionally, after Texas Congressman Wright Patman left, he was a tough antagonist of the banking industry. That was just totally controlled.
I think I'm going to cut it there because I don't want to go too far and use up too much time because these other two topics are are gonna take up some time here. So I think we covered most of it. We heard where he's calling out, not most of it. I think we covered a good chunk of it, where he's calling out the squad, and they're just pathetic. So yeah, yeah. So let's move to the two main co-stories we will do. And let's move to the before I do that, I'm gonna throw up a bunch of comments because this segment I thought it was gonna be a quick segment, but evidently something is resonating with you in this segment, because there's a lot of comments about what's going on, what was said in the video. All right, so like the stream, please. Last time I checked, we we're at 230 likes. We're at 415 people watching. Could we, let's see, could we do 100? That'll take us to 330. Still below the amount of people we're watching. So let's shoot for 330. Let's shoot for 330 before we get into this next topic here. And let me see where I have these tweets and get it prepped, and then I shall read your tweets here. One moment. Let me make sure here. Okay, so let's throw up some of your comments, and let's see. Let's look through here. This one here, I don't want to give up on local greens or DSA because our local groups are good. I feel pressure to get involved deeper in these orgs to try to get them honest. Let's scroll up some more. Now, here's now let me read a couple of super chats. Got about 3 more I haven't read yet. Black churches are now dim battleground. Talk about the Dems in a black church. You're leaving in a body. Talk about the Dems in a black church, and you're leaving in a body bag. Shaking my head. Look at Al Sharpton Tool. Thank you for that. Let me just read the other super chats, and then we'll go there. Belated happy birthday, CJ. I missed the party. Love ya. Thank you, Ophelia PG. That's actually the name of my mother, Ophelia. Oh, here we go. Yo, CJ, could you do a live react to Neo's algorithm on YouTube? Launch video is only 8 minutes. I'm not a live reaction guy. Thank you for the super chat. That's not my thing. Nick is here. He's in the back. So he'll be joining as soon as he's ready. Make sure you go check out that episode. I was watching it before I had to get started. Make sure you go check out the episode. They're talking about Nick's tweet, talking about Elon, talking about a couple of other culture war things, talking about wokeness or wokeism. So make sure you go and watch the live stream on a Convo Couch. Nick appears on there. All right, so let's continue with some more. There goes Nick right there. What's up, sir?
What's going on? What's up, my friend, my family? We went a little long on there, but it's always fun to talk to Fiorella and Pasta about these issues. So I'm glad I was able to make this. I don't know how many stories we did already, but
just that one, just the
okay,
Breonna
cool.
Taylor or Breonna Joy Gray. I always say that because I know somebody named Breonna Taylor. So
yeah, that's not the first time you did that.
Yeah, I always do that because I know somebody, because I always keep saying their name. But Breonna Joy Gray video. I'm sorry, an interview with Ralph Nader where he kind of calls out, he calls out the squad. Talks about what they could do, gives some sort of like real world examples in history where people talked about how the Freedom Caucus, he calls them the corporate caucus, using their might with only 30 members to make it a living hell for John Boehner, and the squad not doing anything. So
So Rough Nader is not impressed with the squad, I'm assuming.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's
I
not
had
impressed
to
with
make
the
sure
squad.
because I didn't see this interview yet. I know Roth disappointed a lot of people by going blue no matter who the last midterms. I just make sure I haven't seen the interview yet, so maybe I gotta make sure I watch the beginning of this video. Also announcement. I'm gonna be on. I literally just got the message not too long ago, so I'm gonna be on Glenn Greenwald's show at around 7. Wait, let me. What's time zone again? Was it Eastern? Let's see. It's 7:30 Eastern time, and we're gonna talk about the Bernie Sanders Yemen thing. So yeah, gonna be a busy day for me. So make sure you guys check me out there as well. But go ahead, CJ. I'll pass it back to you.
Absolutely. And just keeping you honest, we're at 289. We're shooting for 330. 289. We're shooting for 330. I think I just finished all the announcements, about to roll into the next topic, and I think I want to start with the Kshama Sawant topic first. I mean, these are kind of two co-main stories, Nick, because both of these are kind of big to me. But let's start with the Kshama. Or I'm sorry, I'm reverting back. Let's start with the Kshama. The Kshama situation that's going on, and I
had to fight so hard because I got bad. I had such a bad habit of saying Kshama. When we had Kshama on last time, I was like, "Don't say Kshama, don't say Kshama, say Kshama." So I think I did a good job on that. So
yeah. You that's why, because I was listening to you. Listening to you is what kept me honest too, and I was like, okay, I need to make sure. It's just that reactive way of looking at something or thinking of the name and thinking of the K, and it's not, should not be saying it. But anyway, let me share, or I am sharing my screen, Nick, and we're starting here. Let's start with Margaret Kimberly. It's a good person to start with. I consider RBN Margaret a Kimberly adjacent. What do you think, Nick? Are we Margaret Kimberly adjacent?
Like Margaret Kimberly and Black Agenda Report are the people that I would view us being closest to anyone who have the black radical anti-imperialist belief. Like that's like the black and left anti-imperialist is where we fit in. Like it's always weird, and the reason why we always joke about this because ever since when we had Jimmy on, like and actually ever since the first time I went on Jimmy Dore, people were like, "Oh my God, Nick is a Dore." I'm like, out of all the people we talk to, that's the one we talk to constantly. Like so, like they don't say that we're like Kshama Sawantites, right? They do that because they want to. They always want to drag us in their nonsense bullshit beats with podcasters. So yeah, Margaret Kimberly, Gerald Horn is another one as well. We had him on during the Anti-Imperialist Summit. These are people I read the most from. These is where I get most of what like my anti-imperialist analysis from, reading their great work. So I'll retweet this tweet from Margaret as well.
We're going to yours too. Yeah, we're going to yours. And, I mean, your comment on this because I think it went kind of viral. I know it got at least 1,000.
Yeah, I got the ratio. Like it was already a bad ratio, but I saw it earlier this morning. I'm like, let's get this shit started again. One of my friends, like I got a lot of people that always send me shit. One of my friends like, do you see this shit? So I quote tweeted again. Like this ratio grew exponentially because I quote tweeted again this morning. Like it's almost like. And I said this also in the thread, like it's almost like the DSA is trying their best to prove our being correct about them. Like it's unbelievable how low they keep sinking. Like we tell you guys their priorities, their interests, how they are actually a front for the Democratic Party, and then their DSA people get upset when we say that, but then the organization go out and just prove us everything we said correct here. So
I just would like to be in the brainstorming room. Who thought it was a good idea to tweet this? If you think if you're mad, like you're an AOC fan, damn that Kshama, damn her, like, but who said let's go ahead and tweet this out? And why did you think you would get a good reaction? Immediately, they were racial. But before we get there, let's read her original tweet. This is Kshama's original tweet. All but one of squad cross. All but one of the squad crossed the picket line, voting with Republican majority to break rail worker strike. A socialist can't be a strike breaker. This should result in expulsion from DSA. Failing that, the squad's betrayal of workers becomes DSA betrayal.
And then DSA was like, we
Worker.
volunteer. we're not even gonna, like what Kshama said there. Sorry, I want to emphasize.
No,
this.
go ahead,
What Kshama said there was that if DSA is if they don't say anything or they're silent, you know, the whole silent and violence thing. Like this one thing where DSA, you must come out against the squad, busting the railroad strike, or you're a traitor, right? This DSA organization, like, hold up. I'm not even gonna make it explicit like that. We're gonna come straight out as a class traitor. we're not even gonna put any nuance on this. We're gonna straight up defend the union busting Democratic Party. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm just reading. So this is their Twitter account, DSA North Star, and it reads DSA North Star, the Caucus for Socialism and Democracy within Democratic Socialists of America. So it sounds like they're saying they're the caucus. They're representing the caucus. Now, we're just gonna zero in on because I'm thinking that this may not be the only bad tweet they have. It's just that this has gone viral.
I just saw you went on their page. You see they getting ratioed every tweet now. Like everyone's like,
let me see.
Go back. Look, the pin tweet. Go to pin. Look, go up. Ratio there.
Tweet. Okay.
Ratio there.
Oh, yeah.
Ratio there. Now, like the same thing you're doing, CJ, is what a lot of people are doing. They see that one tweet, like, hold up.
You're like, what the fuck is this kind of shit?
Look, every single tweet on their page is ratioed. Everyone. Oh, that's so hilarious.
Let's read.
I can take it if you don't mind. Openly organizing for your ultra left cult. Now, if you are a social organization and you catch yourself saying stuff like ultra left, like if you catch yourself using those terms, maybe you should reevaluate. Maybe you can pause, take a breath, be like, I'm starting to sound like Nancy Pelosi real quick. What's going on here? Ultra left.
This sounds like a Democrat who is sending this. What does this even mean? And using the word cult. And also, this tweet by Kshama was sent on the 2nd of December. Why did they wait 11 days?
Yes.
That's was simmering. Or Nick, do you think they sat back and they saw the swarm and Ryan Grimm's bullshit is not working? Yes. So now they're mad. It's like, wait a minute. We got a plan. Yeah, everybody's coming after. Yeah, Kshama said this. Yeah, whatever. But Ryan Grimm's gonna go save us, and they deploy him. Right? It's not working, Nick. Writing articles, it's not working, Nick. Nobody's buying it. Not even the pseudo left is willing to go in front of a camera to repeat and use Ryan Grimm and say, "Look, Ryan Grimm is right." No, not even them. Nobody's buying it. So 11 days later, when it says, okay, our plan B is not working, our plan A didn't work,
and
now we're mad. Now we're mad. Go ahead.
Not only did it not work, it backfired. Remember, Ryan Grimm was the guy they sent out there to take the blow to defend the squad. And then Ryan Grimm did that, and that video from Brown Joy Gray went viral. So now you had DSA for 10 days seething. Motherfucking Kshama Sawant. Fuck, she thinks she can call out Ryan. What the fuck? Ryan Grimm? Didn't call Ryan Grimm. Didn't call the squad. Let's get this mother. For 10 days, they think what we're gonna say to get this motherfucker. They had a screenshot saved. Couldn't wait. Fucking Kshama Sawant, the fucking motherfucker. So let me continue to tweet. They said organizing for your ultra leftist cult within DSA is an expellable offense. Guys, DSA is floating the idea of expelling Kshama Sawant for standing with the road workers and criticizing the squad. I just want to let that sit for a second. You realize that is what they're doing. Entryism is forbidden by our bylaws. Disagreeing with ultra-left positions on things is not an expellable offense in a democratic socialist organization. Let's break down that last sentence.
I was just about to focus on that. Ultra left.
You want to take it?
No. I want you to take it. I'm just saying that last part. Go ahead, dissect that shit because that is absolutely ridiculous.
The ultra left position of militantly standing with workers is what they were talking about. Apparently, according to DSA, guys, supporting unions and strikes is literally basic socialist shit. Like, you know how when you first start mathing to you 2 + 2 = 4, right? Supporting workers and socialists, that workers and unions, that is literally the entry point. Like, we're not talking about state and revolution shit. You know what I mean? This is the basic of what makes you a socialist.
This is
But
the
they are
reason why,
saying that-
Nick.
Go ahead, CJ. Go ahead, CJ.
I was just gonna say this is the reason why the United States left intentionally is saying socialism is not an ideology; it's a set of it's a set of things you believe in. They have to take ideology out because this is what you get. You get this. Well, you can have different nuances. No, you can't. Strike breaking. You can't be a socialist and they strike. Like, I don't understand. Like, that is just. It shouldn't be a need to even say that. Like, you can't be a socialist and then be breaking strikes. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Look at this. And this is what they are accusing Kshama and Socialist Alternative of doing. Entryism is a political strategy in which an organization or state encourages members or supporters to join another, usually larger organization, in an attempt to expand influence and expand their ideas and program. If the organization being entered is hostile to entryism, the entrants may engage in a degree of servitude and subversion to hide the fact that they are an organization in their own right. So to me, just based on that definition, it seems like DSA is extremely upset that there's a faction that is actually socialist in their organization.
Yes.
How that is literally the most revealing thing. Like, RBN, Jimmy Dore, no one can expose DSA the way they just did with this tweet. No
To
one.
me,
Go ahead.
this right here, disagreeing with ultra left, being against strikes is not an ultra left position.
Yeah.
That makes me question, who are these people? See, I was introduced into who the DSA were after being an RB. I didn't even know who DSA was. I didn't know about DSA not until when RJ was doing those interviews, and who was it? Like, around that time, I didn't know at all who DSA. Like, when the drama, it was some other drama going on at that time. Back when RJ was a member,
This is another.
like, that's when I start to understand who DSA was.
CJ.
Go ahead.
This is another important thing to remember, and I'm glad he brought it up. Zoya is love. Zoya is life, with a powerful comment. This is a great point. And she said 2008. And this is so important to understand. DSA membership grew 7-fold after Bernie Sanders ran. At first they had 6,000 people in DSA. Then after Bernie Sanders ran, they had 43,000. And remember what I said about the Bernie movement, when I thought I made a mistake of thinking the Bernie movement, that we was all like real socialist, anti-imperialist fighters. So when you see this boom of DSA membership because of Bernie Sanders, do you guys think all those people are really socialists?
No, it was the 6,000 before they got before they went. It was 6,000, the people that were there before Bernie. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't that make sense? Because it's like, I'm saying I'm a DSA member before Bernie has made this popularized. So those people are probably the ones that they're saying they don't like the new ones. They're like, we don't like you guys. You guys want to stick to ideology.
So when you look at the 37,000 people who joined after the Bernie Sanders race, how many of those people are actually liberals and loyal to the Democratic Party, have no revolutionary discipline, never picked up a book of Marx? Don't look at the strategies of the global South and other socialists around the world. How many of these people became socialists just because they thought Bernie Sanders' explanation of socialism is what it means to be a socialist, right? So I explained many times, Bernie Sanders and AOC didn't shift this country to the left. They didn't create more socialists. They dragged what it means to be a socialist to the right by the mainstream. So there are a ton of these people in DSA that was like, oh, look, I'm a socialist now.
And they keep redefining it more right. When they go and vote for Ukraine, for example, they're going, let's move some more right, everybody. That's what they're doing every time they do this. When Bernie Sanders withdraws his Yemen, and that's the next segment. Like I said, these are two co-headlining segments. When he withdraws his Yemen resolution. And Nick, there was too many videos. I couldn't put too many things in the intro. It was another intro video. where he's talking about Yemen 2 years ago. We're gonna play that video when we get to that segment. We're gonna see how Bernie
Well,
talks
this is
about
updated. Sorry,
Go
CJ,
ahead.
but this is an update comment for Zoya. I guess you got some new numbers. She said in
Uh-oh, it probably went
2022,
down.
DSA is now the largest socialist organization in the United States. I love how she put socialist in quotes because with over 92,000 members. So there's 86,000 more people that joined DSA post Bernie Sanders. There are people who have no idea what it means to be socialist. They have no idea what's going on. They see Bernie Sanders as Malcolm X. Like that's their and they believe in horseshoe theory. Since Bernie Sanders is Malcolm X, if you're further left than Bernie, you must have went so far left, you're now on the right.
Those are literally liberals who have just switched out their name. Those are literally just liberals who just switched their name. They just updated their name.
Yeah,
That's
and last point, there's a comment from Captain Obvious. Whoever wrote this garbage by the DSA North Star Twitter account is an infiltrator. I will bet my money on it. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Why did the infiltrator rise up in the ranks to the point where they can control a Twitter profile?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a one random guy. Because you know how much trust you must have to build, how much organizing, you had to be in leadership to be able to.
And why isn't rank and file saying anything? Like even like you get what I'm saying? Like if you get what I'm saying, if Lenin rises up and then he says, I'm about to start doing some capitalism, everybody gonna be like, what, nigga? What?
Yeah, I didn't see
You get what I'm saying? Like, where's the pushback from the people then? Go ahead.
No, that's such a great point because I made that point because I want you guys to understand this is not one rogue tweet. Like this is from an organization, and these organizations allow leadership to tweet for them. So this is someone in leadership that tweeted bullshit out. And I love the point that you add to it because if this was a DSA organization going rogue, where are the other DSA accounts saying, "Oh, this doesn't represent our views. We don't support this," because it's going viral, guys. Everyone's seen this tweet, and this is as of an hour ago. I don't even know what the new numbers are.
That's true.
But sorry, Steve, I'll pass to you. I know you want to add on. Go ahead.
Well, let me just see what is. I mean, they getting destroyed. I mean, when you see
they getting crushed.
Like this is just. Let's go to some of these. Just look. I mean, I have no idea. Okay, so we're going in it blind, but I guarantee the majority of them is going to be calling them out. Let's see if there's anybody saying, yes, you're right. So rightists calling other rightists ultra left. And that's from the black like Maoists. They follow, we follow.
There's so many good tweets on this. So, because now, like, I'm so like we've been doing this all year, CJ, and this is why RBN is growing like crazy. We were saying a lot of shit our first year, but because we didn't have authority, we didn't have clout, we was a small channel. People were like, oh my God, RBN, the only reason you guys are calling out DSA is because you guys trying to get clicks. There's so many people who didn't believe us. Yeah. And this is like, ever since I got on
Jimmy right here.
People
Go ahead.
Stuff. Here's Jimmy's tweet. I'll read this. Standing with road workers is considered ultra left. This is literally what I just said. If you were trying to discredit DSA, you couldn't do a better job. That tweet by DSA North Star, there is no stream. There is no video that I can do. There's no op-ed I can write in Substack. There is nothing I can do to damage DSA more than they just did right now.
And they're still not taking it down. This should be deleted. These aren't screenshots. These are actual quote tweets. And here goes one. We should start pulling a Kshama. What the actual fuck?
Maybe that's a reference to that. Maybe that's a reference.
What the actual fuck? So what the actual fuck?
And what I noticed, CJ, is I'm seeing way more people want to do this. Like RBN, and bitch out to Ryan Knight.
I saw that too.
He was one of the early people. Like we was calling out DSA, and so many of the Bernie crats and so many of the fake socialists. And even people who mean well, who think DSA is still a good organization, they should think we were just saying this because we were talking shit. Now, with this tweet, I was looking at it like, oh, so everyone knows they're a sham now. And one of the things, RBN was out in front. We was in front.
Yeah, everybody is being exposed, just like the squad is everybody and being exposed. Let's read another friend of the show. She has the Punch Up podcast with friend of the show, Pat the Burner. Solidarity with workers isn't ultra less. Jesus effing Christ. The least we should do is hold DSA members accountable when they vote to break a strike. This post of yours is outrageous, truly shameful. Absolutely, I'll retweet that one. Absolutely agree. Now, Nick, let's keep going because I'm going to get to yours and Ryan's tweet. But just in case,
It's gonna
I
take a
missed
while, but there's
somebody.
like so many people on here.
Oh no, I'm not gonna scroll all the way down. I'm just gonna make sure there's a couple of more people I know. A DSA snitch account wants I like how she says this. A DSA snitch account wants to expel Kshama for insulting the squad. Completely pathetic. They are being fully exposed here, and I absolutely love it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Click the tweet. Click the tweet. So you can see the replies just real quick, because you're showing some of the quote tweets. Look at the people who are replying under the tweets. There's so many people ratioing them to death. I saw Sabby have a good one. I'll see if I can find out. Like, you see, everyone is roasting him.
Let me look at it. So they have 161. There's a ratio right here. There's 162 right here.
Yeah,
that's the
click
ratio.
Zoya. Click Zoya's tweet right there. Just click it real quick. And now go up. Now go up to their tweet. Go up to their tweet. Go up.
I'll go up to their tweet. Okay.
Now let's see how many comments they have. Now go down, because the real ratio is how many people comment. Look. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, guys, I could not. When I first saw this tweet this morning, this shit had maybe 200 replies. They got almost 1,100. Oh my God! That's why I want to say it this way, because this way shows you how many people are just dragging them. Jesus fucking Christ! So I'm glad RBN and a lot of our allies, we was out in front calling out.
Yeah, because this was way lower. David, this was way lower. It didn't even have half the amount when I retweeted this. Sorry,
CJ. I just wanted to see that part, because that's like
wow.
The quote tweets is a ratio, but the replies, that's really show how many people are digging into that ass. Now at 1,100, it's going up exponentially by the moment. Jesus. So DSA exposed like no other. Nothing that we can do that expose DSA more than this shit right here. Whoever made this tweet, if DSA was serious about, and they're not, but if they were serious about rectifying this, they will identify who made this tweet and dispel them.
Because they don't say you're gone, because we do not believe this. Yeah, so let's read Zoya's, or you can read it. Yeah, you can read it.
Oh, sorry, my bad, CJ, my bad.
No, go ahead.
Zoya's love, Zoya's life. She said, called out them socialists for years. Yeah, Zoya, another brilliant member of the RBN community, pretty much honorary RBN member. Absolutely. She's been with me, a friend. She co-founded Tandem Meds with me. She's been calling out DSA. Real organizers, real socialist organizers have been calling out DSA for how shitty they are or they've become, right? But let me continue reading the tweet. Their bylaws condemn socialism, communism under the guise of entryism. Removing Kshama will only damage the reputation, not hers. DSA always stands with the establishment while co-opting left terminology. Zoya's love. Zoya's love. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
And let me read this quote. The oppressor will not be so strong if he did not have accomplices among the oppressed. That is fire. That is Absolutely. Such an on point comment. Now let me just go directly to yours, Nick. I'm just gonna go to your account here, and then we'll bring up Brian, and then we can kind of close this one out. And I do want to go through a little bit of the comments just for people to understand, like, we're not exaggerating here. Like, you saw the number.
When we get off, I gotta go through that, because that number, I was not expecting. Like, when I first saw it, it was maybe like 230 ratio, right? So I got in again, because they was getting ratio last night. Then I jumped in this morning, like, yo, what is this shit? And now it's this is why you don't want to be the main character on Twitter. If you're the main character on Twitter, something not going well for you.
My bad. Hold on. Sorry, my bad. I blew this up to. Okay, here we. Oh no, that's not it. All right, so let's do Ryan, and then we'll do yours, because yours.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
So here goes Ryan Nice. I'll read this one, and then you can read yours. So AOC and the squad sold the rail workers out, but you want to expel Kshama for standing up for the workers who are fighting for paid sick leave. Thanks for showing us one more time that the DSA is nothing more than a subsidiary of the DNC. It's just bizarre, Nick, to me that they have the audacity to put this out. And I wonder, I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny, Nick. I'm really thinking that this was done because they didn't understand it has been terrible for them. They just thought, we're gonna do this vote and then people are gonna buy this. Nobody's buying it. People online are just going at them at every tweet. You go to AOC tweet. She's tweeting about everything else, and there's people on it calling her a scab on it.
Yeah, it's over.
So I'm just saying, there's some internal DSA meeting conversations that they're having. They're saying, hey, the people we like, the people we talk about, the people we say who we support, everybody's talking bad about them. What do? The people who are the faces of our organization. Who's more popular than the squad as the face of DSA?
And I see a lot of comments in the chat. I can't even shout one person out because I see a lot of people making this point as well. DSA literally saying that entryism is against their policy, even though that's literally what they're trying to do with the Democratic Party. How is that literally your main goal is to do entryism into the Democratic Party? But then they say, oh, you can't do that to us when you guys are pushing us to the left. It's so, oh my, this is so bad for DSA. You would think with all the left critics of DSA, like RBN, they know we exist. I know they do, because a lot of these DSA people block me. All the Bernie DSA people got me blocked. So not like they don't know I exist. They know the left criticism. They know Jimmy Dore, right? They know the Jimmy Dore criticism of DSA. They hear all the anti-people. I hear Aaron Mate, Matt Blue. I hear so many people criticize DSA. Mark Kimberly, Black Agenda Report. The list goes on and on. The amount of true electors that criticize DSA. So if there was an actual good faith operating organization, they would hear the criticism and they would be like, you know what? I'm gonna prove these people wrong. They did this opposite. So it's like AOC and the squad. Where AOC and the squad, they know CJ. They know they lost the true left. They know that shit. That shit was a long time ago. So DSA is like, well, since we already know we lost the real left, we're just gonna go full-fledged Democratic Party partisans. We got nothing to lose now. That's the only rationalization I have seeing this. They just don't care about winning true socialists and workers over because they know the cat is out of the bag.
I think that's exactly it, Nick, and you can see it. You can't tell me that's not it when you can see TYT doing it, Majority Report doing it. You can't tell me that's not it. That's exactly
and it's all coordinated. They all doing this at the same time, and I don't know why. We all can guess, right? Right? It's coordinated. They are coordinating to the center. Like Anna Kasparian's meltdown defending the LA City Council guy is like, there is no way you can justify defending that this person is good faith. Yeah. There's something coordinated by the TYT left, the NATO left, the boutique left, because we play a small part of it. Not a large part, but a small part of it. They see RBN, they see Jimmy Dore, they see all these channels calling them out as the frauds they are. So they're like, all right, fuck it. We're not tricking those people anymore. We're not going to keep dragging along the dumb live that's still support. So anyway, let me read this. DSA floats the idea of expelling Kshama Sawant for standing with rail workers and calling out the squad. DSA is a clown organization. And there were some people in my comments that was saying meaner stuff. I was like, guys, me calling DSA a clown organization is me being very nice.
That's nice.
I want to say some other shit, and I'll tell you guys, we all here, we all family. I was about to say the DSA is 100% a CIA op, but I was like, oh no, I don't want to muddy the waters by calling them CIA unnecessary. So I just say clown. But what I really believe, these motherfuckers is 100% CIA. I just tweet it's over. They're CIA. They infiltrated. If they're not CIA, they fall in their direction. They get in direction from the Democratic Party to crush the left. But for the sake of simplicity, I was like, I'm gonna just call them clowns because I don't even want to start that debate. I think what they said. Please, enough. Anyway, I'm gonna read the next part.
That's our umbrella term. That's our umbrella term is clowns.
Yeah. I was about to say some more stuff, but you guys. I feel like that. I think what they said already proved that enough. I said I really hope they do it. I really do. Because remember what we said on the show, I don't think Kshama have any reason to be part of DSA. I'm not mad that she is because
not at all.
I'm not mad at
what she's trying to do. She's trying to go in and make them more militant. Yeah, do that. She's not going in there and let them making her more milquetoast. You get what I'm saying? So I'm for that. Yeah.
So to be clear, I have no problem with Kshama being part of DSA because I see what she's trying to do. But when we said we think the Kshama shouldn't be part of that motherfucker. Like, don't give it any legitimacy. So I'm like, go ahead, expel Kshama. And the second they do that, and I continue with my tweets, it would end DSA's legitimacy forever, quote unquote, the pathetic amount it had left. Like, for the few amount of people, when you see it through this tweet, and I can't wait to go through the hundreds of more that I missed, you see people who wasn't, in the last few weeks, you've seen people who wasn't willing to say fraud squad. Then the squad broke the railroad strike. Now they're like, fraud squad, you all fucking fraud. I should have said it months ago. I should have said you got the fraud. Now, that's the same thing with DSA. This tweet exposed them, but then they actually expelling Kshama from this. You will see a mass exodus because this will lead to a big story. And guys, think outside the box here. So if they actually expel Kshama Sawant, that would be a story. Kshama will go on the media platforms. We will talk to her about it. You might see her on Bree's show. Oh my gosh, Kshama's expelled by DSA for standing for rail workers. Do you guys really want that publicity? Go ahead. I dare you. I dare you motherfuckers to expel Kshama. Imagine, CJ. Imagine if they expel Kshama for standing with railroad workers, but they allow the squad to stay in despite busting their strike. That would be literally the perfect thing that could happen that could radicalize these otherwise good faith. Like, I don't attack the members. Like, the good faith DSA people who want to advance socialism, if they see that, they're done. The same reason why I said, and I'll pass you to, I know I'm ranting, but that's why I said on Jimmy's show, and that's why Rome said before, it's better for the working class to have the Democratic Party win. The fact that there wasn't a red wave this year, fantastic, because now they can't blame Republicans. The same with DSA. If DSA expels Kshama Sawant, that's great, because now there's no excuse. There's no excuse for you guys to be part of this organization after that.
And they said in a tweet, they said that it says openly organizing for your ultra left cult within DSA is an expellable offense.
So wait, that's so, oh my God, I just read.
Entryism is forbidden by our bylaws. And you already addressed this. DSA is all about entryism. That is their whole thing.
Yeah. And this is the funny thing. They even said it. Organizing your ultra left cult within DSA. Why are you guys so worried about more socialist and communist ideas infiltrating your organization unless it meant to sheep herd people into a capitalist imperialist party? I swear to God, they better come out with a statement in the next few days that say our account was hacked. Like that, if I was them, I'd do that.
They better be like, Julian Assange was at it again. They'd be like, they didn't do that. He didn't even do that. But that would tell you that they're believing the Democratic talking points. But let me read this from Sabby. Shout out Sabby. So DSA will try to expel Kshama Sawant, but they won't try to expel the squad. DSA is an absolute joke.
Sabby, she ratioed them pretty bad in that thread too. Like, she had a tweet within that thread. Let's see if I can find it. Where Sabby, like, not her quote tweet thread, but she had.
Oh, okay, got you.
But you don't have to find, not a big deal. But I was just pointing out that she had a tweet within that thread. It's gonna be hard because there's thousands of replies. I'm not asking you to pull it up, but Sabby literally ratioed them to death from the last time I saw. Let's see if I can find it.
Let me just type in DSA. I'm curious.
Yeah, dude, this is. I need to get caught up because I've been offline for a while. Like, this ratio is insanity. This ratio is insanity. Man, I'm so happy that they did this because they proved us so right. This whole year, the reason why RBN has grown so much because we've been proven right about everything we said year one. Year one, everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at these angry niggas." The angry niggas on the squad in DSA. They said we shouldn't vote Democrat. What the fuck is wrong with them? Now everyone's like, "Holy shit, them RBN motherfuckers was on something." They knew it, and I'm so glad they've been exposed like this. I cannot emphasize this enough because there's no content I could make that could expose them. I can tell you that DSA is a sellout, but them showing you like this is the best example. Yeah. This is exactly what we needed to build a militant left that's not hijacked by the DSA. What was that tweet?
We just covered them when we covered this. They're in shambles.
Oh, so I just thought that was trying to.
Damn. Yeah. No, that's like we just covered this last week. We covered them being terrible. It's just one thing after another. You may not even remember this because we covered it but
dude, if you search my name in DSA, you will see me calling them out for literally years. I was just remarking because I didn't see that tweet because sometimes I tweet and I leave. I'm glad that one got like 2,000 likes on that. Nice.
Yeah.
I remember I used to call out DSA. I used to get a lot of people fighting me, guys. I went from calling out DSA and having radical people like me that I would get ratioed a little bit by Bernie people. I'm like, whatever, I don't care if I get ratioed if I'm right. I went from that to now I would talk to you about DSA and no pushback. No pushback. Not only will I get no
They'd
pushback,
be like, hey, he's pretty base. Yeah, that's pretty right.
Yeah, it'll go viral. But anyway,
this mainly because today is so big. Most of the stuff that's coming up from the search is from today's because you have so many comments.
Yeah, you got
in your thread. Yeah, you have so many comments. You can take that down if you need to share anything. Go ahead.
You have to filter. Let's see. I'm actually kind of curious because this is my DSA Twitter call out highlight reel. It's how put DSA here. Then from Social Cinema, you see, like, you scroll down for years. Like, this is me calling them out for years. Look, December 2021. You see me like and this is when I remember this one. Look, this is from August. DSA this year celebrating and apologizing for the Espionage Act, smearing the Uhuru Black Socialist movement while cheering the FBI.
Lord.
Yes, they did that. Yes, they did that. Supporting NATO in the U.S. proxy war. I see it. This is my tweet calling this out. I was like, why is no one else calling this shit out? This guy, who deleted the tweet? Hold on, wait, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
I was like, what the fuck? So this guy, and this is another example of DSA, and these people I've been calling out. This guy is a big DSA. I'm gonna block him here. What is fucking? Well, I don't know what is. If we used to look at this guy account, he used to rep DSA everywhere. So this guy was smearing the Uhuru Socialist movement because this is a viral tweet I made where I was like, why isn't the squad standing up for the Uhuru Socialist movement, despite them being raided by the FBI? And then he was like, well, he lied and said that the Uhuru Black Socialist movement is connected to a black radical group that was like reactionary. So this guy literally lied, and there are a lot of people that was calling him out. And it's like, you're wrong. And they was like, you're smearing. They were literally smearing a black socialist movement while they were being raided by the FBI. That would here's the you can see his description here. He said, you see how I said it? DSA. This is a DSA guy who was smearing the Uhuru Black Socialist movement. This is shit that they do. And I called him out for it. I said, Rose Twitter is smearing the Uhuru Black Socialist movement in order to defend the FBI and the squad. Now, why did he say this? He got mad at me and he quote tweeted. He said, and this is what all the DSA people say. He said, Socialist MMA is a fucking op or the dumbest person online. And he says that because I'm calling out the squad. You guys see that?
How are you an op by calling out the squad?
According to these people, I am an op for calling out politicians and standing with activists. And so you see how, and this is something I have dealt with on Twitter for quite some time. Whenever you call out Bernie Sanders, DSM, I'll see if I can find some real, like, this is literally June 2021. Meanwhile, DSM, let's see, what was the full context of this? Oh yeah, I was calling how DSA shitless, always smear Julian Assange. Yep. And in that tweet where the DSA black guy was smearing the Uhuru Black Socialist movement, that shit had like 300 likes. You guys saw it. It had, and I clicked through it all, and it all was DSA people. So the DSA was all for the FBI raiding the Uhuru Black Socialist movement, and they was repeating the bullshit. Oh well, they are connected to Black Hammer, which they're not. If you guys don't know, Black Hammer was this group, and they had an old member that splintered from that, and he was part of the people who created the Uhuru Black Socialist movement. So what he did, he took some guy who left Black Hammer and said, "Oh look, Black Hammer, Black Uhuru Socialist movement is connected to Black Hammer." And Black Hammer is apparently like, I don't know that much about him, but Black Hammer is apparently like this anti-Semitic, extremely socially conservative black group. And I also say I'm gonna move on. But I'm gonna move on. But you guys see, I've been calling these people out for years, and I'm glad that more people are starting to see them out for the bullshit that they do. But I bet you, I know I've been ranting for a while.
No worries. I'm just getting so my final word on this story, because I'm getting the next story, and the next story coming up is the Bernie Sanders, really the downfall of Bernie Sanders. Like, because like just this latest Yemen resolution is just the latest in a string of just failures. So Nick, I want to kind of bring up a couple of his things. Of course, we're going to bring up his war vote in Ukraine. So that's one of the things we just talk about a string of his failures and his downfall that is truly showing he is not with us. He's not us. He's not part of us. So go ahead.
Just to preface the story, I'll pass right to you, CJ. Do you guys remember, literally yesterday on stream, we covered how Bernie was proposing this resolution to end the Yemeni war. And I warned you guys, I'm speaking generally, if you were one of the people that wanted to praise Bernie Sanders, I said, you can go ahead and do that, but I am not. Remember I said that?
Yep.
Now you guys see why I was not willing to praise Bernie Sanders, because it was obvious that Bernie planned to propose this Yemen resolution after the midterms. Why do you guys think that? Because everyone thought that there was going to be a red wave and that the Republicans would control the Senate.
Yes.
So now, after the fact that the Democratic Party maintained the Senate, now you can't do this Yemen resolution and then say, oh, the only reason it failed is because the Republican Party struck it down. That's why he waited till after the midterms to do this. Because now that the Democratic Party had full control, Biden panicked and was like, oh, shit, you guys can't just blame Republicans on this. So he rallied support and exposed the Democratic Party for being genocide enablers. And he even got people from the Progressive Caucus to abandon Bernie and vote no on his resolution. So what should you do if you Bernie Sanders in this situation? I don't know. You got millions of followers, you got massive email lists, way more. You literally the most popular senator in the United States. I don't know. Maybe wage a public war. Imagine Bernie Sanders saying that we should end a genocide in Yemen, and politicians that are less popular to him saying, no, Bernie is wrong. We should keep funding the genocide in Yemen. The public pressure will be against them, right? Bernie knows this, CJ. Bernie knows he has the upper hand in this situation. He doesn't want to embarrass his good friend Joe. He doesn't, because if he did that, that would make it Bernie versus Joe Biden. Bernie versus Democratic Party. He does not want that. And now he did after. Now I'll pass it to you so you can explain this part, because I don't want to preface too long. The action he takes exceeded even my expectation for how low Bernie can go. Because I explained on my show yesterday why I'm not giving Bernie credit. But what he did by completely caving to the Democratic Party, and what's important is how he caved, is extremely problematic. And I can't wait to go. I'm going to talk about this on Glenn's show tonight as well. But let's pull it up. And I'm going to expand on that here very soon. Because the way he sold out, the way he caved to Biden on Yemen is particularly disgusting. So what Bernie essentially said was, oh shit, we're going to listen to the Biden administration and try to adjust the bill based on language that they are comfortable with. What does that mean? They are willing to water down the bill on something that was already watered down. I was playing on stream last night. This resolution would end U.S. moral support for the famine that goes on in Yemen. And the Democratic Party can't even have that. They can't even have that debate. So what he said is, we will water down that ass, which is already horrific. And Bernie said, if Biden doesn't cooperate, I will propose my bill in a few months. Think about what this means, guys. This means that in order to win the good graces of the Democratic Party and not to embarrass his good friend Joe, he's willing to allow many people to starve for an extra few months. Meanwhile, I think I'm prefacing enough. CJ, do you? I'll give.
Yeah, let's actually bring in this video here. This is Ryan Grimm. He. Hang on a second here. Yeah, this is the right video. Okay, so because I have a bunch of videos saved and I wanted to make sure this is right. All right, so let me share this because Ryan Graham reported.
That has
Let's
been
add this to the
introduced by
screen.
Senator Bernie
Ryan
Sanders.
Graham reported. This is separately, so this is not on the Kshama. Now he had a previous segment where he's talking about the rail workers with her, and then he moves on to this topic of the Yemen thing. So let's listen to this. What he says, what happened to Bernie, and how the Democrats were whipping against the resolution.
Wanted to ask you about the Yemen War Powers resolution that has been introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders.
So that's getting voted on tonight in the Senate at 7 p.m. It would basically bar the U.S. From supporting any offensive operations in Saudi Arabia. The question of what an offensive operation would then
In Saudi
be left,
Arabia or Yemen?
Sorry, in Yemen by Saudi Arabia and the UAE in Yemen. So this is an effort to end U.S. support for the Saudi-led war there. A ceasefire in Yemen expired on October 1st, but it has held to this day. And so a strong vote, even if it's a losing vote, but if they can show 40 plus senators on the floor opposing the war, even in the midst of a ceasefire, the thinking is from the Sanders and the anti-war camp that makes it much more difficult for Saudi Arabia to restart airstrikes, because one errant airstrike with civilians killed could then push the support from the 40s well up into the 50s and could be the end of it. So a strong showing on the floor today would be a sign to Saudi Arabia that despite Biden's kind of genuflection to MBS for lower gas prices, that there's still a lot of opposition to the war in Yemen here in the United States, and particularly in the halls of power.
Ryan Graham, I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Now, of course, there's updates, but I wanted to give the genesis of what happened before, the resolution. So this was an interview that was conducted before we know what eventually happened. But what do you think about what he says is the strategy of doing the resolution so he can get, if we can get 30, he knows it's not going to pass, but we can get these amount, it'll sort of show Saudi Arabia not to restart after the ceasefire. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, I wonder if Ryan Graham is going to have any venom for Bernie pulling out the resolution. We already know that's not the case. Of course not. But it's important to realize that, and I covered this earlier this year, in the Yemeni war, there was negotiating a ceasefire. And I reported this a long time ago. The reason why the U.S. wasn't even hiding it, the United States were trying to paint Russia as being uniquely evil, right? So they wanted to rein in the genocide that they were sponsoring. That's why they eventually pulled support and they stopped refueling planes in Yemen. And then they were able to negotiate a ceasefire in April this year. But it was the Saudi-led coalition that broke that ceasefire, because that ceasefire was it was all about having Saudi Arabia stop blocking the import of goods. So then Saudi Arabia still kept the blockade, which still kept people starved. So then the Houthis started attacking even more aggressively, because they said, okay, since you guys are starving our people, you broke the ceasefire. So then the United States turned around with Saudi Arabia and said, oh my God, look at these people. They broke the ceasefire. They're attacking our people. And the Biden administration went along with it. And these are one of the questions where I'm like, if you're one of the progressives in Congress that wanted to end the war in Yemen, why are you guys lying about the conflict? Why are you guys allowing Biden to break the ceasefire that was based on something that was Saudi Arabia's fault? These are the small nuances that a lot of people don't understand this story, which make it so even more unforgivable that Democratic Party was peeling away, that Bernie was losing support on this resolution, and why ultimately Bernie dropped his support. But anyway, so I'll pass to you for the next part.
So no, just giving more backstory as we give our opinion, and then we'll eventually get to Bernie Sanders' tweet and kind of talk about the fallout of what's happening, and just Bernie Sanders, and maybe give some more receipts on just other failings. I know I just want to bring up some war stuff, but let's go here. Rising Bree does a pretty good job in 2 minutes explaining like where we're at up to this point. So let's listen to what she says here.
But first, things came to a head on Capitol Hill yesterday when Senator Bernie Sanders withdrew his proposed Yemen war powers resolution after reporting revealed the Biden administration was actively whipping against it. Here's that moment from the Senate floor last night.
So once again, where we are at is I'm not going to ask for a vote tonight. I look forward to working with the administration.
You tell me that doesn't look like a pitiful man. That looks like a absolutely just pitiful man.
I don't know how Bernie sleeps at night, man. I don't know how he sleeps at night.
This is just pitiful. I mean, he looks like just awful.
Tonight,
let's play.
I look forward to working with the administration who was opposed to this resolution and see if we can come up with something that is strong, that is effective. And if we do not, I will be back. And with that, Mr. President,
what does that mean?
Does that sound strong? Does that sound strong? And if they don't, I'll be back. Does that sound? Does that sound like a guy that's still like if somebody told you that you know, hey, if that don't happen, I'll be back. What kind of faith would you have? He's coming back to help you. Go ahead.
Let's analyze the message that Bernie is sending to his supporters. So once again, he's not gaslighting me and you, CJ. We see through it. This is why I don't know how he sleeps at night. He's gaslighting his own supporters. So this is what Bernie Sanders wants his supporters to believe, that he had a draft resolution to end the genocide in Yemen. And Biden was like, oh, no, we got some disagreements. And Bernie's like, oh, wait, no, don't worry, guys. I'm going to drop the resolution right now. I'm going to talk to Jim Crow Joe. We're going to have a conversation. And Joe Biden, who is acting in good faith, it will help us pass this resolution. This is the message that Bernie is sending to his supporters, that somehow Joe Biden is a good faith actor, that all you got to do is have a conversation with Bernie. He's like, well, Bernie, I don't know that he gets it right now, but let me calm down, guys. We'll be back. Do you guys really believe that? This is why I criticize these people. These people are leading the left off a cliff. Now, if you are a not politically inclined Bernie supporter, you look at this situation like, oh, well, thank God Joe Biden is willing to have a conversation about this issue. Nigga, we all know that's not how it works. You're literally stalling for time. You're giving the Biden administration in Saudi Arabia more time to starve Yemeni children. CJ, imagine in a genocide, your reaction to a genocide is not, oh man, we get to it eventually. If you're a genocide, that's some shit you got to end as fast as you can. And that's why I criticized him last night. I criticized him last night for doing the same thing because he introduced his resolution in 2019 when Donald Trump was president. Donald Trump vetoed the bill, and then Bernie was like, I did this resolution, right? And I praised him for it at the time. But the reason why I know Bernie wasn't serious on ending this conflict was because you would think that after Trump vetoed the bill in 2019, he would come back as soon as Joe Biden won the presidency and they had control of the House and Senate and introduced it again. He did not. He waited 2 years. He allowed 2 years of Yemeni suffering just so Democrats wouldn't look bad in the midterms. And then even now he's like, oh shit, we let the Yemeni people starve for a few months just so the Biden administration and Democrats don't get bad PR. What's another reason why he's doing this? He's also doing this so that will prevent Democrats from being on the record. The same reason why the squad didn't force the vote. They don't want people to know what Democrats are corrupt. They don't want people to know what Democrats are enabling genocide because that makes their job in 2024 that much harder, CJ. Imagine we had a record of people voting against the Yemeni war. Imagine we had a record of people voting against Medicare for all. Then in 2024, they can't be like, oh, yeah, let's vote for Amy Klobuchar if you're in Minnesota because they'll see her. She voted no on Yemen, right? That is one example. So you guys see what their job is. Their job is to not only provide PR, but to make sure the Democratic Party never look bad. Never ever look bad.
And that's what he's doing. And that's I mean, that's such a spot on point. Now, I do want to bring up the video where we can see him talking about Yemen. Yeah, it's right. Actually, let me share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at here. So I'm on his page. Let me take this one down and go to this other one. Because just a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I think the video, when I find it, I'll be able to say a few years ago. Let me just type it in. Bernie Yemen short, because I think it's a short. Let's see here. Here it goes right here.
I think people are looking at the
Hold on, everybody. Can I make?
I think people are looking at the horrific humanitarian disaster now. I think people are looking at
videos are awful.
the humanitarian disaster.
Am I doing something wrong here? Isn't this a? Let me.
No,
refresh
it's just those fucking videos are awful. Those videos are. It looks like it's glitching. It looks like it's glitching there.
Yeah, so let me refresh it and then just let it play.
People are looking
Okay, there we
at
go.
the horrific humanitarian disaster now taking place in Yemen. There was a recent report that over the last number of years, some 75,000 children have died of starvation. This is a country dealing with cholera, a country dealing with a terrible level of famine. So you got that issue. You got the issue that this war was never authorized by the United States Congress in violation of our Constitution. And you got the Khashoggi incident, which says that we have a Saudi government led by a despotic ruler who killed a political opponent in cold blood. Add that all together. I think the American people in Congress are now saying, let us end our support for the Saudi-led war in Yemen.
And why? Go ahead, CJ. Go ahead, CJ.
I think
Yeah,
people
I was
are
just gonna say, do you think MBS called in favor to the Bidens and said, you better make sure that resolution doesn't go through, sir?
I don't think they did, because I think Biden already knows. Because think about what the United States have been doing. The United States have been trying to win over Saudi Arabia, and China we just did a segment on it. China just met with Saudi Arabia, and China and Saudi Arabia, they're like, we're not going to get involved in each other's domestic issues. We're all about making that paper. That's why Saudi Arabia prefers China. So the Biden administration saw this resolution on Bernie, was like, nigga, what the fuck? That was only if the Republicans won back the Senate. That's probably what they talk about on the phone. Bottom saying, and that what got Bernie. He's like, nigga, you was only supposed to do this if the Republicans won back the Senate. We got the Senate, now you want to make it look bad. And Bernie, oh shit, I forgot. So he was the argument he made there, and watching that video of Bernie is actually very infuriating, because he's making powerful arguments against the Yemeni war. So why don't you want to make this conversation public? Why don't you want to make this debate public? So you say, hey, Biden, we put this vote on the floor whether you like it or not. And then Biden and his media allies will go after you. The corporate media will take their direction from the Democratic Party. They will run smear jobs. They will explain how standing in the Yemeni war is good. That is what we want. We want the debate. What you just heard from Bernie right there, imagine him grilling Joe Biden about this. Imagine if he went on corporate news, he went on Jake Tapper that was criticized. You know, in that situation, Jake Tapper would take the side of the Biden administration. And he's like, Bernie, what are you doing? Destructive. Why are you proposing this bill even though you know it's not going to pass? Why are you doing this to the Biden White House? And then Bernie goes live in front of 1 million people and say exactly that. What will happen, guys? Public opinion will shift drastically in favor of ending the Yemen war. There is no argument to keeping it. So what Bernie does by withdrawing this is so fucking evil. Because I think he knows Bernie is not an idiot. I don't do this thing where I call politicians idiots. They all smart. They're probably smarter than me. They're smarter than me, right? He knows what I just explained to you guys. He knows that if he kept the resolution, that will make his dear beloved Democratic Party look awful. And imagine Bernie stumping for Joe Biden after Joe Biden vetoed his resolution, after the Democratic Party go after his resolution. So when we say that Bernie Sanders is a sheepdog for the Democratic Party, that he's here to protect the Democratic Party, that is what you are seeing right now. But CJ, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Bernie's tweet right here.
And Bernie took a ratio too. He had a lot of people going after him too.
Bernie Sanders, today I withdrew from consideration by the U.S. Senate my war powers resolution after the Biden administration agreed to continue working with my office on ending the war in Yemen. Now, I've got to say this. When Bernie put the resolution up, he didn't think it was going to pass. Nothing has changed, only that Joe Biden doesn't want him. You get what I'm saying? Because Ryan tried to go, Democrats are whipping against it, whipping votes. Who cares? Bernie didn't think he was going to win. It was about the appearance of not having a lot of votes, even because they already know it's not going to win, Nick. So why is Bernie taking down something he already knew wasn't going to win when he put it up in the first time? So it begs the question, and this is the question we ask the professional managerial class all the time, is they're not willing to go to the mat, Nick. Never.
Ever.
Never willing to go to the mat. This was a situation that literally he had no downside to go to the mat on this. There's no downside. What? No downside to going to the mat, but professional managerial class, even when they're tapped, oh, okay, I'm done. The fragility of it. And that's what I have to say.
Imagine Bernie kept his vote up, right? What would they say? Bernie Sanders, the right-wing grifter who wants to end the war in Yemen. There's no negative to this. That's why I'm doing a lot of psychoanalyzing here. Because, like, why should we get these people benefited out? There is no good reason for what Bernie did. But go ahead, CJ.
No, that's and to your point, there is no good reason. But let's zoom out of this tweet so you can see who quote tweeted it. This is Caitlin Johnstone. She actually wrote an article. I listened to it on most of her articles she puts in a voice form where you can hear it, audio form, and I listened to this article she wrote on this very topic here. You misspelled after the Democrats told me to withdraw it. And that shit went viral, 2,200. Absolutely on point. Technically equals after we privately agreed to bring it back up when Democrats control the House, then blame them. I'm sorry. After we privately agreed to bring it back up when Republicans control the House, then blame them. So that person added something else he would have said. All right, so let's go to some of these other items here with the same story. Now, this is where I saw it first, Nick. I don't know if you saw it first from Dan.
Yeah, this is where I first saw it.
Yeah, and it says Bernie Sanders caves into White House pressures. There will be no vote on Yemen war powers revolutions. What a cow!
Ask yourself. Scroll 1 second. Just real second. Scroll up a little bit. Ask yourself this: what pressure? Bernie Sanders cave in, and it's not criticism of David all. I'm just asking.
No. You're bringing up the point. What pressure? Yeah.
Bernie Sanders caved to White House pressure. What pressure? You mean a phone call he gave him? There's no political pressure on Bernie Sanders here. All the political pressure is on the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders refused to put pressure on the White House. That's the accurate headline here. He didn't cave. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. Right? But anyway, go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, but it's like it would be better if he never even presented it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you got the dead corpse of people who want to believe in you. Just keep stabbing. Let me stab this nigga some more. Like it's done. Like it's a dead. Like let it be, man. Stop stringing us along with hopeism, only to be swiped away by your good friend Biden.
Absolutely.
So
and guys, and the reason I'll be real short, I'll pass it back to you, CJ. One of the reasons why this is so damning is because one of the primary reasons that a lot of Bernie-crats say they was going to vote for Joe Biden is that they're like, oh, I know Joe Biden's awful. I know he's a war criminal. I know he is an extremely anti-black politician, but we got to vote for Joe Biden because don't you want to end the war in Yemen? Don't you want to end the genocide in Yemen? They went from that to now they're just letting him off the hook for continuing the genocide over the last few years. That went from being the selling point of voting for the Democratic Party to doesn't really matter. But anyway, go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, so I take it he actually wrote the article. So my bad. I should have hovered over his name. He is the actual writer, Dave. I
read anti-war all the time. They're pretty.
Yeah, you probably knew this. I should have clicked on it, but so he details it here. We don't have to go into too much detail about it because it's terrible. This guy is completely terrible. But let's read a little bit on it. Am I sharing? Can everybody see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I can
everybody see this. Sanders withdraws Yemen war powers resolution vote over Biden opposition. That's better. Not pressure, Just
Yeah,
Biden is
exactly.
against it.
Yeah,
Just Biden is
exactly.
against it. So the White House was asking senators to vote against the resolution and threatened Biden would veto the bill. Senator Bernie Sanders on Tuesday night withdrew his request to vote on the Yemen war powers resolution that would end U.S. support for Saudi-led war and blockade on Yemen, citing White House opposition to the bill. Sanders said on the Senate floor that he was informed ahead of the scheduled vote of the administration's opposition to the legislation, meaning President Biden would veto the legislation. The Intercept reported earlier in the day that the White House was pressuring senators to vote against the bill, and Democrats came out in opposition to Sanders' resolution on Tuesday, including Senator Alex Padilla. Sanders' justification for not holding the vote was the administration claimed it would work with Congress on ending the war in Yemen. I'm just going to pause here. Why can't both be done? Why? Like, you can still talk Biden administration. You can still do all of that. Let's continue.
That's such an important
Go
point.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
just want to emphasize that is such an important point. That's it. I literally just want to. That is
Do the resolution and let's talk. Let's do let's do the other thing. Like, why does one exclude the other? But let's continue. He said the White House wanted to, quote, work with us on crafting language that would be mutually acceptable. Now, let me pause here. These are lawyers. The reason they're always are talking about crafting the language is language for loopholes, people. It's language for get out of jail free cards. It's language so that you don't really do what you're trying to project you're doing. So we can agree on language. What do you mean? Stop the war, motherfucker. That's it. You get what I'm saying? What language is there to be added here? Let's continue. But even if the White House really wanted to engage with Congress on the issue, or if Sanders chooses to reintroduce the resolution, the plan will take time, which Yemenis don't have. And this is the point you were making, Nick. Like, how many people are going to die and starve? There has been no secession in violence in Yemen, with no Saudi airstrikes since March, but there has been a recent uptick in fighting on the ground. A ceasefire expired in October and without a real peace deal, the war could flare up again at any time. The resolution could have ended U.S. support for the Saudi-led coalition, including maintenance of its warplanes. This is big, including maintenance of its warplanes, which would effectively ground the Saudi Air Force. Because if you can't service them, they're grounded. Even if Biden vetoed the resolution, its passage through Congress would have sent a message to the White House and Riyadh to work faster on a real end to the war. While Democrats started to fold in their support for resolution, Republican Senator Rand Paul and Mike Lee both came out in favor of the legislation. Of course, in the House, a version of the resolution was also introduced that had gained 118 co-sponsors, including 10 Democrats. So Bernie Sanders has less balls than the 10 Republicans in the House, and Rand Paul, and Mike Lee. Nick?
I have to look at the number, but I think this is an important point to make. Just an anti-two-party duopoly point. I remember that number being way higher under Trump, because they got this resolution passed in the House and the Senate, and Donald Trump vetoed it. Now you got less. I gotta look at the breakdown, make sure I'm right on this. But you guys know that a ton of Republicans was down for this, and now when Donald Trump's president, so he can say, "Oh, Donald Trump in the war in Yemen." Now you got less Republican support on this than he did original. But maybe I should check. Maybe I have to make sure I'm right on that. Maybe I should check.
No, you're proving the point that you said, is that they do this as to show to the worker, look what I'm doing, but they do it only when they know what they're voting for will never take place.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I didn't know Pelosi voted for the sick pay.
What? She did what?
In the House.
Ah.
Pelosi
Hmm.
voted for the sick pay in the House, and you telling me the squad didn't know that wasn't going to pass? You telling me you telling me you really trying to act like you thought that I'm going off on a tangent, but anyway, so I think we can close the article at least here. And I don't know. I mean, we can give our last thoughts on this and then play that video, Obama video. I do want to cover that before we leave.
Be a good last segment.
That'll be the good last one.
That's a good short segment to do.
Yeah, but what are your final thoughts on what Bernie
ahead.
is doing, and what are your final thoughts though, like on what Bernie is doing? I mean, it just, to me, it proves like we really can't depend. We really can't look to these people to do anything. We really cannot depend on them. They will run and cover at the slightest push at all. And you saw that today. Go ahead.
My final thoughts is the people who took probably the biggest L this year are the people like Nefarious Filthbird. You see that guy on Twitter who called me an op because I criticized Bernie and the squad. He got 300 likes on that because I am despised by people who love Bernie Sanders. They took the biggest L this year, and I love it because these people are nowhere to be found defending DSA and Bernie Sanders. Our argument against these people aged like wine in the great year of 2022. So that's my final thought. And to the DSA tweet, you see no one defending DSA. The same way I saw nobody defending Bernie for this. So heading to 2023, these Bernie sycophants, you're gonna see Ryan Grimm embarrass himself more. You're gonna see more DSA jihad people on Twitter embarrass themselves because they walked themselves in a corner where their political ideology, where Sam Cedar political ideology, all the people Voss's political ideology, all hinges on Bernie Sanders and the squad being for real, right? Voss, Sam Cedar, Cenk Uygur, and the entire Cenk left, their career was made by that. So now they got to explain to their supporters how they was so wrong. So there's been such a massive L for them, and you're gonna see them continue to embarrass themselves in 2023.
You think they are really gonna explain it? You think they will explain why they're to their followers? Like they have to make a decision to move right or explain why Bernie Sanders is not aligning with them. Or,
CJ,
any other person. Go ahead.
CJ, you mentioned this before on one of our old shows, but I know this. I know you know this as well. Every single time the squad and Bernie Sanders is exposed like this, you're never gonna see Voss do a reaction video to that. Like the second that like Bernie will propose the Yemen power resolution, and they will do a stream like, "Oh my God, Bernie is the greatest! Yemen, he proposed ending the Yemen war. See, this is why Bernie is great. This is why he's great." And then Bernie pulls it, and then nuts crickets. Remember when Cory Bush
did that? Yes.
Remember when Cory Bush stood on the steps and did that fake performative bullshit where she was trying to pretend she stood with the homeless people as the homeless moratorium expired, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, look how amazing Cory Bush and AOC is! They are the best! They are fighting for us!" And then they left. The moratorium was struck down, and they forgot about it. And all of a sudden, there was no follow-up video to that, right? So they always do that, and they're gonna do this in 2023.
That's a good point.
This is why they're more irrelevant. People, they're gonna only talk about the good stuff that they do in the beginning, while not explaining how they caved on that and what they're continuing to do. So they're gonna continue to take L's. RB in our community, we're gonna continue to take W's by being right because we are honest to you guys. We are truthful to you guys. We don't have no agendas. We're not trying to get paid by these people. We're not trying to be part of their club. Like we honestly don't give a fuck about that, but they do. So you're gonna hear Ben Dixon. You're gonna hear Tim Black. You're gonna hear these people. They're gonna try and pretend that Nina Turner and Bernie Sanders are the best thing ever. We're not gonna do that here. So with that said, let's get to the. Unless you have any last thoughts.
Yeah, let me just throw a couple of things in so that Aaron, when Aaron cuts this, we have just a couple of more headlines. I'm not reading them. Just want to show the headlines to show who Bernie Sanders is, because this segment is the downfall. It's not just the Yemen, just to show some of Bernie's past. Sanders and DSA vote for war, and then let me show you this next one. I gotta find how to share multiple screens at once. Then you have this one. I think I showed this earlier. Bernie Sanders, DSA play crucial role in passing anti-strike law against railroaders. That's Bernie Sanders also. And then I'll show you one last headline to end this segment, and that's this one. Pro-war Bernie Sanders campaigns for Democrats at the University of Michigan. You have Bernie Sanders now being called the pro-war Bernie Sanders.
Ah,
It is
Jesus
just
fucking
a
Christ.
fall from grace here. It is absolutely a fall. And
Yeah.
let's do a short announcement, and then we'll get to
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
last story. Short announcement, because we didn't do one the last time. Let's make sure you join our Substack for those that are just getting here. We got one final story before we get out of here. It's Obama melting down. Join our Substack if you want access to our Discord. You can also get access to our Discord to be a Patreon member. And also join our Substack if you want to get notifications when we go live. The other thing is we're trying to get to 30,000. This was the count during the stream, 27,061. We're trying to get to 30,000. Make sure you subscribe and double check if you have been subscribed to make sure you're still subscribed. Last thing, let's like the video. We are currently at 523 likes, 575 people watching. Let's see if we can add another 50 more likes. Let's get to 575. And Nick, last story, Obama melts down.
So I want to show you guys this video. Now, this video is actually older, but it resurfaced because of the woke dialogue that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Elon Musk, you have the right that is pushing that wokeism is a threat to our society. And I was just on Convo Couch, and me and Fiorella, we was having a conversation why we think this shit is ridiculous, right? And another reason why it's ridiculous because you guys are pretending that the Democratic Party is a woke party, even though they are ran by war criminals.
Right.
They're ran by capitalists and brutal war criminals, but you guys are pretending they're woke. And these are things like I spoke on Convo Couch. What you're doing, you're misleading people what the real problem is. You are engaging in the anti-intellectual pursuit. And you guys know in RBN, we don't condone anti-intellectualism. Anti-intellectualism is the killer of revolutions. Do you guys know Black Panthers? They used to require monthly readings. And if you was in leadership, you literally had to read. You had to host readings every month. Members had to read. So the Black Panthers and Marxists and revolutionary movements understood why we need to be intelligent, why we need to be awake and understand who's on our side and who's not. So this video from Obama has resurfaced. This is like from 2019 because this shows how the elites have one centered ideology. They just pretend, they just act. So you have elite Democrats who decry wokeism the same way the Republicans do. But people want to pretend it's only a Democrat thing. So this is a video. Let me make sure I got it right here. Here it is. This is a video of Barack Obama, and a lot of right-wingers was using this as a gotcha to Obama and the Democratic Party because you look at the quote here. My God, Barack Obama has gone full MAGA, just like Elon Musk. So this is a really good jab. It's a good jab. Aiming at the phony liberals who pretend that only the Republicans are doing this. Only the Republicans are engaging in bad faith culture wars. So I'll preface this enough. Let's listen to Barack Obama and we can laugh at this because this is hilarious.
You know, this idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids and, you know, share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Yara goes to school with my daughter. But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV, watch my show, watch Grownish. You know, that's not activism. That's not bringing about change. You know, if all you're doing is casting stones, you know, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
So let's make this 100% clear. You guys want to know what this is about? And I want to get your take on this, CJ. But this is Barack Obama essentially melting down because for the last 6 years, young people have been calling him a war criminal. That's what this is.
I'm a good dad. So what? I turned Libya into a slave state. I'm still a good person. That's essentially what he's saying. Go ahead.
Why do you guys gotta be focused on the negative, man? Why you guys always throw shades? So I watched it the first time without interrupting it, because now I want to go through it again, and I want to explain what Barack Obama is really saying during this. Because my tweet when I responded to this, I had to go back. Damn, over 2,000 likes now. I said this is essentially Obama melting down because young people keep calling him a war criminal. Now, with that in mind, let's watch it again so you guys see how that's on point here.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly.
Why do you guys think he's complaining that he's not? The people, oh my God, they're like, of course I'm not pure. Of course, oh my God, why do you guys want us to be pure? Because
you're never compromised. Go ahead.
Because you lied. You lied about ending the wars. So I ain't like, oh man, come on. I know you guys always want to be pure. You want politicians to actually do what they say. Listen to what he said in the beginning here.
You know, this idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always
never compromised.
And all that.
That's Obama. He's fighting these demons every day. He know he's sold out, and he's tired of Gen Z and young millennials like myself calling him out. CJ, so I know I'm ranting. You have any take before I continue?
Yeah, no, like when he says you're never to me, I zero in on that. What these people do is when they're talking, what they do, Nick, and it could be subconsciously, they go in and out of who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Meaning he'll go and say a few words where he's talking and he's applying it to the peasants, the workers. And then he'll say another few words where he's specifically only talking to the ruling class. Absolutely. And he does this throughout his conversation. You're never compromised. That has nothing to do with having a different opinion, Nick.
Yes.
Being compromised have zero to do with having a difference of opinion. So saying, oh, I'm not woke. That's a difference of opinion. Being compromised is being bought off by corporations. You see how he's intertwining things together. Go ahead. I see. Feel like you're gonna say something.
No. You're good. You're making a great point. I didn't want to rant this whole damn. But remember what we said when we did our breakdown over woke. Who does it serve to demonize being woke? Remember when we asked that question? You guys see how being woke and acknowledging who your real oppressors are, that scares the shit out of Obama. That's why we ask yourself, who does it serve? Going against being woke, being compassionate and intelligent, only serves the ruling class. And that's why I want to play this old speech again. Once again, this is from 2019, but this is resurfaced because of current political dialogue. I want to show you guys
about the opposite of what he says. What's wrong with the opposite if you're not compromised?
Yes.
What's wrong with the opposite if you're not willing to throw away your values? You see how he's basically saying you're rewarded if you throw away your hardline stances against capitalism, your hardline stances against letting the earth go to shit. You get what I'm saying? That is the whole thing. You need to soften your stance on getting rid of all of the bad shit, is what he's essentially saying. And you need to not be so judgmental on those of us who have to do bad things because we work for a bad empire, like me. And if I was Obama speaking, go ahead.
Yeah, well said. So I want to play it. Let's continue it. I want to play it one time in full, and then this time we're gonna debunk it. So let's go ahead.
You should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. People who
Can you stop it right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's not ambiguities about Palestine. There's not ambiguities about climate change. There's not ambiguities that people need more money. There's not ambiguities that people need health care. You see how he's trying to add, there's no ambiguities here. He wants you to think there's ambiguity in being an imperialist. There's nuance in being an imperialist. There's nuance in being a white supremacist nation. There is none.
Come on, CJ, man. He bombed the hospital. Okay. He bombed Doctor Without Borders. Yeah, he bombed the wedding. There's ambiguities, though. The world is messy. What do you want me to do? Yeah, who haven't bombed a wedding or two? Come on. This is how liberals listen to this guy, and that's the conclusion they come with. Oh, come on, man. He's doing his job. He's bombing a few countries. Let's continue.
All right.
Have flaws.
Have flaws, like the flaw of bombing weddings.
That's what I'm saying.
The flaw of upholding Guantanamo Bay. Oh, this is a flaw. I know I lied about that. It's just a flaw. Why you gotta be so hard?
People who you are fighting may love their kids.
That's him. That's the Democratic Party doing their best to humanize war criminals.
Mm-hmm.
That's when someone is a murderer, when someone is a rapist, do you look at that person like, man, at least he loves his kids? No, you do not do that. And what anti-imperialists will we ask you? Well, what anti-imperialists ask is people to acknowledge that one life equals one life. What we mean by that is whether someone kills you on the street with a gun in a homicide, or someone in a suit bombs someone and kill 15 people. Doesn't the person who bombed 15 people, isn't he worse? So I use that example, but that's actually a weak example because Obama, you are a mass murderer. This is my anti-imperialist ideology, and I say ideology because this is what I believe. If you bomb someone, you kill 12,000 people, you're a murderer times 12,000. Barack Obama has the moral high ground over 0 people, including every single person in prison. Take anyone in prison, the worst crime, they're worse than him. He's worse than them.
Yeah, anyone in criminal history of the United States. Take anyone. Yeah. Actually take all of them and add them together. The Ted Bundys, the Jeffrey, the Dahmers, take them all and add them together. It ain't 10% of what this guy does.
CJ, imagine, do you guys think there's anyone in the United States prison that created a slave state? Imagine Barack Obama went to prison and then they're like, what are you in for? I'm in there for murder. What are you in there for? I did home robbery. What are you in for? I turned state to a slave state.
I turned the whole country to a slave state.
You gangster.
They'd be like, what?
Gangster. He'd be the number one hot show in the prison. They're like, this nigga turned, he only killed one person. This nigga created a slave state.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue. I thought this was more of a fun segment.
And share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses.
Danger!
And I talk about this. Yara goes to school.
You see how he bring up the college campuses? You guys see how neoliberals accept right-wing talking points all the time? So what is Tucker Carlson and Fox News talking about? Oh my God, there's extremism on college campuses. And you see how Barack Obama goes right along with that? But people, the dumb left, they will call RBN. They say, oh my God, you guys are right-leaning. No, the people who enable the right, and you explain this, you did streams on this. The people who enable the right the most are neoliberals. Look at how fast neoliberals are to accept right-wing talking points. Are we doing that? But people will call us a right-winger. Isn't that interesting?
The right-wingers who want to continue to pretend to be left are the ones that's the only people that call us right-wingers are right-wingers who are pretending to be left.
Absolutely.
That's literally it. But continue.
But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way.
Can you pause it? That is not his daughter. That is the girl from Grownish the daughter from.
Oh, I thought
so
that was
you
his daughter
see-
the whole time.
No, when I first watched it, I did, but that's if you look closely, that is the middle child, the oldest daughter on Blackish. If you watch the show Blackish, or if you watch Grownish, it was a spinoff. That's who that is. But Nick, but you see how this is just to explain. You see the problem that the black working class has. They have a problem is that the black capitalist, aspiring capitalist class thinks that Obama is a saint. Now, imagine if you and I were there and we were like, what the fuck are you saying, Obama? You blah, blah, blah. She would be standing up defending him.
Yep. That's such a good point.
That's the problem we have here. We have because there's too many black people who have not yet either accepted or recognized that Barack Obama is terrible. And the richer you get, the more you know about, the less it seems you know how bad Barack Obama is when you're black. It seems like the richer you get, the less you know of all the bad shit he did.
You want to be part of his club. The black capitalists will not. They want nothing more than be in the seat that Obama's sitting in right now. But let's continue. You guys see why I wanted to play it in full first, because like I literally could stop this every second to explain what he did wrong.
Here's her name. Somebody gave her name. This is her name.
What's her name?
Right there. Yeah, Yari Shahidi.
Yeah.
Her dad is like either Armenian or something like that. I can't remember. He's Arabic. Yeah.
All right, let's watch the last part and we get near wrapping up.
Change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out.
That's what Democrats do to Republicans all the time, by the way.
And also, how is this not a conservative point of view?
It is.
What he's making here. How is it not? Anyway, I could keep going with this guy, but keep going.
Yeah.
TV. Watch my show. Watch Grownish. That's not activism. That's not bringing about change.
Now, I want to pause it here for a reason. This millionaire, war criminal, neoliberal fuck think he can gatekeep what it means to be an activist? So let's walk this through. Let's follow your logic, Barack Obama. Apparently, calling out war criminals like you online is not activism. Anything online is not activism. But when black people and workers show up in the streets in mass, you guys decry that too. You know that, CJ?
Yeah.
Tweeting, you can't do activism by tweeting. It's like, okay, let's hit the street then. No, you can't do that. You guys are being disorderly.
The only activism is participating in electoral politics is the only activism that they talk about. And then on the weekends, go do a march and raise some money for a charity. It's unserious and trying to change the material needs of people. But this is the face of imperialism that the United States wants. Is his face, not Trump.
Absolutely. Look, he's
standing there after what he did. He's just making jokes as if he's not a fucking killer, and everybody's welcoming him as this mass murderer. Nick,
that's such a good. Imagine if Donald Trump said that same thing. There would be MSNBC, CNN segments talking about Donald Trump, but Barack Obama does it. They get laughs now, and that's such a good point, CJ. Now you guys see why they wanted him as the head of the empire. Mm-hmm. And now let's go back to the original argument because we almost done with this segment.
Oh, this is funny. Grownish. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good. I love our community.
That's funny right there.
So remember, let's go back to wrap this segment. You gotta ask yourself, who does this serve? Who does this rhetoric serve? And at RBN, we've been asking, who does this anti-woke rhetoric serve? We just completely picked apart everything Barack Obama said there. We exposed him as a fraud. We picked out the holes in his logic. You want to know who saw that that speech from Barack Obama and thought it was brilliant, who thought it was great stuff. And now you guys see where the anti-wokeness who it serves. Elon Musk, replying to that video, says, wise words from President Obama. And if you look at this thread, you have a bunch of right-wingers. You have a bunch of the anti-woke people saying, oh my God, well, my algorithm fucked up. But there was a lot of people who's like, yeah, so why can't the Democratic Party go back to this? Oh my God, Barack Obama is way more rational than the Democratic Party now. Why are they saying that? Because Barack Obama is complaining about young people raising awareness about his crimes and corruption. So when they do that, Elon Musk loved that shit. So ask yourself, who does these rhetoric serve? Anti-wokeism, this serves billionaires and imperialists, not the other way around. Are we clear? This is why Elon Musk and the millionaires, look, this got 91,000 likes. The right love this shit. Ask yourself, who does this shit serve?
That's because he's a conservative. He's a moderate Republican. He said he's self-identified himself. He's like, my views are so mainstream, I would be a moderate Republican in the 80s or whatever he said the time would be.
Yeah.
Who does that? Like, what communists say, my views are so mainstream, I would be a moderate capitalist? Like, who does that, Nick? Go ahead.
So
we can close that segment.
Any last thoughts on the story, and we can do super chats before we wrap?
No, let's move the super chats. Like, we're gonna cut this and put this up. I know this is at the end of the stream, and we typically cut the last stuff at the end of the stream first. So this segment will definitely be cut because a lot of people will miss it if they watch this from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. That's usually the best way to do it. So let's get into super chats. And don't forget, I'm gonna be on Glenn Greenwald's show. His new show been on fire recently.
It's the new show. It's not the call-in show. It's the Rumble
no, yeah.
Show.
This is his new. Let me see if I can find it because he been posting some bangers. He's doing really well on there too. Like this new show with Glenn is fire. Let's see if there was a clip I saw literally earlier. Let's see. I'm gonna show you guys the show as we wrap up here. This is it. It called System of Day. I didn't remember what the name of the show was. Very powerful show by Glenn. I saw a few. Let's see if I can find another clip. Cause he been posting a lot of those clips. Like he had Matt Taibbi on recently.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that episode. This is a quick.
This appears on what? Can you tell people where this appears on?
He posted this on Rumble.
Okay.
The link I saw was Rumble. I think he got a YouTube page, but I think he mostly posts pushing Rumble.
No, because he has an exclusive live stream show on Rumble, so it's only televised on Rumble, and maybe he does it like puts clips other places, but I don't know if this is it. I'm not saying this is it. I'm just saying one of the other shows, if this is not it, he's doing an exclusive live show on Rumble. I don't know if this is it.
Yeah, his show is fire. His show is fire. Already making a lot of waves, so it's gonna be good for us to be on there for sure. So anyway, let's get super chats. That's why I'm Convo Couch, and then Glenn tonight. So let's get into it. I want to make sure that I'm gonna go from the beginning. I don't know I don't know what super chat you left off on. Do you read this
we
one?
can do it again, but I did that one.
Maybe you should do super.
Let me show you. I can put up the right ones. You can read them, but at least I can put up. I know
you was there from the beginning.
Let's start here.
Okay. Thanks for the $10, Cyril O'Reilly. The truth of the matter is that my policy. Yeah, this is the quote that you just said. My policies are so mainstream that if I set the same policies that I had back in 1980s, I will be considered a moderate Republican. Guys, this is the quote that every single leftist should memorize. This is the quote I always bring up to people whenever they give me Obama pushback. Well, you said Obama a Republican? In fact, look at what he said in 2012. Like, this is honestly one of the moments that Barack Obama, I bet he wishes he can take back him saying this. Because it was when he said this, it was immediate giant political gaffe. We all know his gaffe is when you say something that's true on accident politically. That's what Obama did when he said this. So ever since he said this, we had massive ammunition. But see,
that's when Coons be trying to prove to Massa. I know I'm more of a coon. That's what he's trying to do. Like, it's me. It's like I'm the top coon. Go ahead.
Let's see the next. I think I'll go in the order. I guess we should go backwards.
Just go backwards.
I can go backwards. Just let me know if I get to one that you read already. Thank you for the $5. Yasin Miller, would you please explain what is that Bernie is afraid of? What would he lose if he fights against the system? What has changed all of the sudden? Now, there's a lot of theories around this. We can only theorize on how someone can be such a blatant sellout. And there are other people like Chris Hedges who would say that Bernie was never on our side. He always was a sheepdogger. So it depends on what side you land on. I'll land on the side that Bernie was always weak, but if he became president, maybe he would have did something. But after he lost, he was like, I don't give a fuck no more. I'm going full Democrat. Also, remember, Bernie had grandkids, he had kids. So imagine what they told this guy. And I'm going with the most best faith interpretation of Bernie Sanders, because I heavily agree with what Chris Hedges say now, right? But let's say you guys believe that Bernie Sanders is a good faith actor. My theory is, if Bernie Sanders goes rogue, not only will they make his life fail, he loses his social circle. Imagine what that would mean for his grandkids, his kids. I'm talking about like if you really challenge power. Imagine they had a conversation with Bernie like, yo, it'd be a shame if your grandkid didn't get accepted to Yale. It'd be a shame if he didn't get those job opportunities, right? And Bernie says over and over again, I love my grandkids. So to answer your question, that's one of my good faith theories. Like if Bernie was a good faith actor, they say, yo, your life will not be comfortable if you fight us. Not your life, your kid's life, your grandkid's life. And Bernie caved, like a lot of humans would do. But there are a lot of theories that go on that. CJ, you have any? Because I'm not even 100. You guys see, I'm kind of conflicted because even I don't really know the answer. Like how you can be so shamelessly a sellout. Those are just theories, right? CJ, you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a theory. Actually, why don't we let Chris Hedges say it? I have the clip right here. We can just let Chris Hedges say it. Is when he appeared. Now he said it many times, but this is him telling the story of why Bernie Sanders, him and Kshama, not Kshama, but him and Kshama says it.
No, I agree with Kshama. And in fact, Kshama and I were with Bernie the night before the climate march in New York City. This was back in, what was it, Kshama, 2016, I think.
It was 2014, actually.
14. And Kshama was pushing Bernie to run as an independent. And it was fascinating to me that Bernie responded by saying, I don't want to end up like Ralph Nader. And what he was really saying is, I don't want to be destroyed by the Democratic Party establishment. So Bernie has always been circumscribed by the parameters of the Democratic Party. He caucuses as a Democrat. And let me remind listeners that Dennis Kucinich, who is a Democrat, was forbidden from caucusing with the Democrats by Pelosi. And then the Democratic establishment redrew or gerrymandered his district to drive him out of the House of Representatives. So Bernie knows the cost, and he doesn't want to pay it. He was campaigning for Clinton in '96. This was after NAFTA, after the 1994 omnibus crime bill. He knows what the Democrats are about, and that's why he will not confront the Democratic Party establishment, because he doesn't want to end up like Ralph Nader. Those are his own words. And let me just go back to the issue of strikes. General strikes.
I can pause it right there. All right. So
yeah,
you heard what he said. Yeah, you heard what he said. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I think that's a very convincing argument. I think Chris Hedges is right. And I also argued earlier, if you want to take a good faith approach, he just don't want to lose his social position. And that's the Ralph Nader quote. And that will make life harder for his grandkids, his kids. Trust me, guys, these people play dirty. So that's something that he deserved blood, and not an excuse for him. Because if you're in this position where you lead a movement, where you're a U.S. senator, you look comfortable, you got 3 houses, you got a great salary, we expect you to make some sacrifices for the movement. You say stuff like, oh my God, it'd be too hard, I'll take social pressure. But that's not an excuse. You owe us shit. We donated to you. You claim to represent us. So yes, you take those sacrifices on. But anyway, so none of those things are excuses for Bernie. We just talking about reasons why that would be. I think for $5, we don't need more political commentators. We need to organize every chance we get, exchange emails, a chat amongst ourselves, and interactive streams. I'm glad we provided interactive streams part. I will actually push back on the first part, because I think more people should get an independent media, because we need to counter the insane propaganda that we get. That's the reason I got on it. I saw all the war propaganda, and I'm like, bro, we can't have enough people debunking this shit. So great comment overall. I just say I do think we need as many Marxist class warrior political commentators as we can get. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is the last one. I'm sorry. Yeah. This one, and then I don't know if a new one came in, but this is the last one going up. Yeah,
I saw like 2 more after this.
Okay.
Thank you for 999. This is a very generous super chat. Thank you, Big Cat Corner. show some love to our man Big Cat in the chat, guys, for the $99 super chat. Congrats on getting on Greenwald, Nick, and RBN. I was on this show before, but it was only for his paid Patreon or like whatever his membership is, because I was on while it was testing the show, and that was super interesting to see. I also, as someone who is trying to get better at production, I saw Glenn talking to the producers. They were hashing out the king, so it was interesting to me. I was there like, oh shit, this is dope. So I think he released that on Patreon. So this is the first time I'm gonna be on his live stream, and he's been killing it on Rumble. So just another way to introduce more ideas. So
and as you go on there, we have got to get a footprint on Rumble. We have to raise money to pay for it. So nuts, because we have to, because if he's bringing you on and he has like the top show or one of the top 3 shows on Rumble, we have to get on. We have to.
I want to show this our Rumble page, which I need to do a better job of promoting a revolutionary, because we have so many people like, why are you not on Rumble? Why are you not on Rumble? Like, yeah, guys, we are on Rumble. A lot of people just don't know because we don't live stream there. Like all our clips.
Because it costs extra to live stream. But now if we are able to afford it, then this is something. But yeah, all of our streams go on there. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, back when we wasn't, I remember I had a conversation with CJ. I was like, dude, these motherfuckers ask for money live stream here. You out there fucking mind. Like we are making pennies, so I'm not paying shit. So yeah, we on Rumble. Here it is, Revolutionary Blackout. You guys see what I did? Look, it's the same for Patreon. You literally can Google Revolutionary Blackout Patreon and Rumble. You guys see us right here. So I just need to do a better job promoting. You see, these views are pretty bad. These views are pretty bad. But
no, that's because we're not on there. We have to get on there. We have to get not back on. We have to get on there. We have a social media person now. Once we're able to pay for the streaming, I think that'll definitely go up, especially with you and others appearing on a Glenn show, especially. So here's another one.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Have y'all heard of Abomination featuring Malcolm X? Maybe. I don't got a good memory. Maybe I heard it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I did.
I don't.
It's one of the things. If I hear it and I'm like, oh yeah, I did hear that. I just don't remember on top of my head.
Did you read this one? I don't know if you read this one.
I don't think I did. Thank you for $5. If this were a just world, he'd be facing execution for war crimes and crimes against humanity, just like the fascists we put on trial after World War II. And that's the situation outlined. If we lived in a rational, moral society, you would be having Obama having conversations with other prisoners like, what you do? Like Hillary Clinton be the king and the queen of her imprisonment, when she like, man, you know what I did? You know how many bodies? Nigga, I'm responsible for Gaddafi. Y'all killed drug dealers, nigga. We killing leaders of countries. That's how I view these people. They should be in prison having these conversations with other criminals. I think this is another one. Do any comrades want the force? Yeah, I've seen this one. No, I told you guys before, I'm not interested in forcing a primary. But thank you for super chat.
Oh, the other way around. The other way around. Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's the last one right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Find Neil's algorithm on YouTube on the way to 100 RBN comrades. So thank you for the $4.99. Jerk that ass. That's the second time I saw you on there. I love that name. That's funny as hell. So I think that's the last. We have another one. I'll just make sure.
Thank you. I don't know if you did that one.
Yeah, not at all. Shout out to Kimberly Mims, and I think
that might be the last one. I'm just doing one more check to make sure.
All right, so make sure you guys check me out.
Did you read this one?
Yeah. Check out Loki, AKLA, Logic, Maverick, UK.
Yeah, I know all those rappers right there, except for maybe Maverick, but I know Logic. I know Akala. I know. Okay, yeah, I know all of them. Thank you, Jay the Informant, and everybody for your super chats. Thank you, Zoya, for always reminding people in the chat. Zoya is love. Thank you for that. So many generous donations during this stream. We just want to, keep thanking everybody. We're not living high on the hog. Any donations is literally going to bills, or it's going to pay people that is helping us do some of this work. It's going to go to pay some of our, our editors. So we just want to make sure we get paid last, like we pay everything else first. So thank you all for all of your support. Nick, what's coming up next so we can get off of here? What's coming up next for you?
So
tomorrow's Thursday, JB is Sabby and JB show tomorrow.
Aaron Good tomorrow. Aaron Good scheduled tomorrow. I'm on Glenn tonight, but that's all I really have. I'm still looking for a guest for possibly Saturday, but we see. But CJ, I'm gonna get ready for Glenn. I'll let you close us out.
Yeah, you can go.
Don't
You can
worry.
go ahead
Go ahead.
and
You
shut
got it.
and peace out if you like, sir. And I will go ahead and do the closing here. First things first. Where is that video? Man, that's a good video, but I can't keep playing that same one. I love that video though. So I think I'm gonna play this one here as our closeout video, but we're not quite there yet. I'll just set it up. We're not closing out quite yet. I don't think there's any updates on any news. I'm on Twitter right now. But the final thing we want to do is anyone who has not yet joined our Substack, please do subscribe to our Substack and we'll get that link for Discord. I promise I will send that when I'm done here. And then that'll be sent on Substack. So I'm literally going to send it right when I get off this stream. So if you join a Substack, you will get this link that I'm going to be sending within 10 minutes or so after the stream is over. So make sure you join the Substack to get that link. Like the video, whatever likes, I don't even know where we're at, but just keep liking until we can get as many as we want as we can. And then this is our closeout video. Thank you for watching today's Nick and CJ show. Disappointing to see what DSA is doing to Kshama, and it's disappointing to see Bernie Sanders be the cuck that he is.
Mississippi is still a very rough place. You know, people is not just walking up like they used to do in the past, walking out, you know, shooting a man down or getting maybe 200 or 300 people carrying you out and lynching you, but it's in a more settled way. You know, they can let you starve to death, not give you jobs. These are some of the things that's happening right now in Mississippi. See, Mississippi is not actually Mississippi's problem. Mississippi is America's problem. Because if America wanted to do something about what has been going on in Mississippi, it could have stopped by now. It wouldn't have been in the past few years between 40 and 50 churches bombed and burned. You see, and this lead me to say, you know, all of the burning and bombing that was done to us and the houses, nobody never said too much about that, and nothing was done. But let something be burned, you know, by a black man, and then, my God, you know, you see, the flag is drenched with our blood. Because you see, so many of our ancestors was killed because we have never accepted slavery. We had to live on it, but we've never wanted it. So we know that this flag is drenched with our blood. So what the young people are saying now, give us a chance to be young men, respected as a man. As we know, this country was built on the black backs of black people across this country. And if we don't have it, you ain't gonna have it either, because we gonna tear it up. That's what they saying. And people ought to understand that. I don't see why they don't understand that. They know what they've done to us. All across this country, they know what they've done to us. This country is desperately sick.